1. We are set to go. All right. Welcome to Hoshido Eternal podcast. This is going to be episode 8, and we're doing something called the Return of the Sci-Fi. So we're going to have sci-fi like questions. This is your host Okami, co-host Rin, and our manager Goku. I'm going to have everyone else introduce themselves. And you already know Gemini, sorry. We have
Yep.
two new people that are in here, and another returner, which is Falcon. So we'll start with the two new members. Matsu, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey yo, this is Matsu. I'm kind of a lurker because sometimes I appear, sometimes I'm not around. I just happen.
I think he also has a YouTube channel called Sleepy Kuya. If you,
I do, yes.
yeah, I don't know if is that the same name you have for Twitch.
I have not updated my Twitch in a
Okay,
long time, so far it's just the YouTube channel Sleepy Kuya.
okay. So we'll give you a little bit of a shout out, and you know, for YouTube, Sleepy Kuya, you'll find him on YouTube. Please subscribe. Giving him a shout out there. And then we have another special guest. We have Los. He's a good friend of mine, and we go way back. And I'll have him introduce himself.
Pretty far. Yeah, pretty far from the community college days. I'm pretty sure I actually know a couple of people in here from those days. Actually, yeah, my name is Los. I do a lot, I guess you could say, but mostly these days I'm just kind of on a bunch of Discord servers and I don't know promotions and stuff. That's pretty much it though.
If you have any socials, we can shout you out.
No, I get banned so often on social media, man. I would shout this out and then in a week it'd be gone and they'd be like, I can't even find the dude.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, Twitter and they just once they get you once, they're always on you. They just don't care anymore.
C'est la
Mm,
vie.
Twitter peeps.
All right, so I guess we can get started on our questions. So I know you two haven't really been to our last episodes. So what we do is that we ask a bunch of questions. A bit of the itinerary is already showing if you saw on the event page on Discord. So if you would like, you can take a look at that while we go along the questions.
Let me
Hmm.
see. Where
So
is that at?
if you scroll all the way up, you can actually see it says events, and then you can click.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. It should
Then,
be
Oh,
highlighted in
got
green. It
it.
should say
Yep,
live now.
I got it right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. Nice. All right.
I had to change up a few questions, and I added on an add-on question. So we'll go right to it. So here's the question.
oh,
First question: what is a sci-fi series that can be close to actual reality?
The Expanse.
The Expanse.
hmm.
Terrifyingly close to reality.
I think I
Terrifyingly
don't know
close.
if
How so? Why is it terrifyingly close to
They had
reality?
an episode of the Mormon Church where basically how the kindness of our Hadri assisted with the production of a ship, only for it to be used as a means to hold the church hostage. I'm like, the church is very kind, and we are very kind people in general, and are likely to be taken advantage for our kindness. When I saw that episode, it terrified me because I'm like, that can actually happen. I can see some organizations taking advantage of that.
Okay. Does anyone want to add on to what Falcon said
That
there?
traumatized me for 2 weeks. I couldn't watch TV. It got too real.
wait, what show are we talking about?
The Expanse.
Oh, it's pretty
I've
good.
never seen
Just
I don't think
I'll
I've
watch it tonight.
actually seen that yet.
Same here, but I'm traumatized just hearing about it.
I hear
See, I
it is
know.
sci-fi done right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, see, I don't
sci-fi
know.
done right.
Its social issues are just too close.
See, I'm not sure if Black Mirror even counts anymore. I know a lot of their stuff is becoming, I mean, it's based in reality, a lot of the tech they bring up in there. So I'm not
Ooh,
sure.
Black Mirror is
That's
very
dated
trippy
though.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have a lot of stuff in there that I've seen, like tech that's come to life. That's actually kind of creepy. It's like, okay,
For sci-fi,
Oh,
does it have to be from the future or just like technology?
I guess science in general, right? I mean,
I want to change my answer. Ghost in the Shell.
okay.
oh wow!
Ghost in the
I was
Shell is
not
a good
expecting
one.
that.
Ooh.
We're more
Wait.
likely to close. We're probably more closer to Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner than we are anything like space sci-fi.
I see it.
I can actually see that. Yeah.
Fate Grand Order.
That's
I don't know.
fantasy, you
I don't
moron.
know
No,
about
no,
that.
that's sci-fi aspects. Leonardo da Vinci uses scientific tools,
Anyway, that's
and
fantasy.
they
He
travel
was
Yes.
through time.
he
Not the Fate series, just the game, Fate Grand
That's
Order.
sci-fi.
oh
Judge Dredd is sci-fi. Yes. No, that okay. So that's a dystopian universe that is.
Is it the? I think it's
Yeah.
pretty okay.
Oh no,
Mm.
no, no. I'm just saying the.
I would love to live in Mega Detroit,
No, no.
make
I'm just.
What are we talking
Neo
about? Though?
Detroit,
We
wherever
talking
the city was
about-
called.
I'm just saying the concept of it, where like, oh, instead of police, you have these people that are actual, and judges. You have these people who are actual like law enforcers who act as judge, jury, executioner. Uh,
oh
yeah, they have all the power, which
It's just more efficient.
that's
No.
true.
Kill him. Like in the dystopian world of Judge Dredd, where crime is such a rampant problem, like worse than RoboCop
Yeah.
somehow. I see judges as being completely justifiable.
Is in Judge Dredd? Is that the one? I remember the original one that was
The lone one.
Yeah, Stallone, which was
Yeah,
hilarious.
that.
But did they have that tech where they could predict the future in some kind of way? Like
No,
that's how
that's
they could make
Minority
the
Report.
judgment? God, dude, Minority Report was so
Yeah.
trippy. I was
Judge. The one that Stallone was in had more of the world building aspects around it, but
yeah. I remember that.
it wasn't. The reason people didn't like it is because it wasn't very close to the comics. And then the one
Okay.
with Carl Urban came out, and people loved that.
Well, yeah, Carl Urban. He's so sexy.
Yeah, that small chin that was coming out of that helmet.
Oh, Demolition Man.
I remember that one. Yep, Demolition Man.
Yeah.
That's the one yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, no, I know about
It's
that
the only
one.
one that survived the franchise wars. I really want to know what the franchise wars was now. I don't know. All they say is like, "Oh, Taco Bell, yeah, it's the only one that survived the franchise war."
Soul Survivor, huh?
Well, the franchise wars isn't that far off as a concept.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
If we're talking about series or things that are pretty close to reality, I would say Firefly or maybe Battlestar Galactica, the new series
Thank
from
you.
03 to
Firefly.
09.
I hate that series.
I don't actually know what Firefly is. What is that?
You don't remember Firefly? Remember I'm a Leaf from the Wind.
It's been a long while.
No.
You
Alright,
don't
so
remember that?
alright, Firefly
I
was a
do
cult
not.
classic show directed by Josh Whedon, that aired on Fox, but was
Yes,
canceled
was
after
it
one
on
season,
Fox?
despite how many people liking it.
It's set
It
in
looks
the early.
familiar.
It's set in the early 26th century.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it too. I'm looking at it. I feel like I have seen this. Oh my god, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
2002 though. Like, who would want to remember too much about it?
it's a very it starred a very young Nathan Fillion.
Captain Malcolm Reynolds.
All right. While you guys are discussing that, I'll ask the next question. How many years would it take to get to Mars? And would it be more practical to colonize Mars for humankind?
Well,
Hmm.
the second question was already is already answered by scientists because apparently Mars has
It takes about 7 months to Mars.
Oh,
yeah,
really? Just 7
Oh.
months?
yeah,
7 months to travel there?
they even showed that on Invincible, although they made it a lot more quicker by only making it like a month with some whatever kind of rocket. But um they said Mars is probably the most hospitable planet
For humans.
for humans. I don't
Well,
know
at
what's
least because of its proximity. I mean,
yes, dude.
there are a lot of really juicy Saturn and Jupiter, but those are far beyond the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Realistically.
we would have to terraform one planet first to get to like other
Well,
planets.
you don't have to
So-
terraform. Dome construction.
Well, yeah, but colonize. We would have to colonize one planet first and then go to the other planets to be in more of a range to get to them.
Oh, wait, all the way to Mars, you mean, right?
Yeah, like we would have to colonize Mars first, and after we had all of that colonization done, then we would be in more of a range to get to the other planets in our solar system.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I think before Mars, maybe setting up domes on the moon would be better.
Yeah, I agree. I think I asked this on the
The
last
construction will go a lot more smoothly. It's better to not skip.
We talked about this on the last episode for sci-fi. Actually, we didn't remember the
Yeah,
question
didn't I
about.
say I would call it like put up colonies on the
Yeah,
domes on the
you
moon?
did. You
Yeah,
did. You
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I
I'm the smart
think
one.
that going your route is probably the first step for mankind, like actually doing anything in outer space.
I'm gonna sound crazy here, but don't we have bases on the moon?
No.
No, we don't. We
No,
don't.
we don't.
Okay, then I'm crazy. Okay.
Yes, you
I
are.
think there's a moon colonization race right now with China. I know that they're boasting that they're gonna be the first ones to colonize the moon. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
whole
with
thing.
what? With what rockets, huh?
Yo, man,
They
listen.
don't have NASA. We do.
Largest population in the world. They can literally stand on each other's shoulders and get there.
They'll-
Like,
They'll
Oh
make
my
the
God.
human bridge to the moon.
come on, dog. That's all I'm saying, man.
Our
Let me
race.
see who's in here. All my homies in here. Let me see if he wanted to talk. I don't know what he's doing.
Who are you talking about?
He's in the audience.
Oh, okay. We'll
His
we'll bring
friend.
him momentarily.
Yeah,
Well,
no, you're good. You're good. I was actually
yeah.
asking if he wanted to talk at all.
All
Yes, I
right.
thought he was
So
sleeping.
okay, we'll bring him in momentarily. We'll get on to the next question. Like after we reach like maybe episode question 5, I'll see if he's interested in joining. Is hyperspace warping a possibility in the future?
It is based on what theoretical, science you're looking at. Like, what do you mean by
Yeah.
so?
Space warping is like, what do we mean by that?
Okay, so there's several different theories on how to do fast and in life travel, right? Like
Okay.
for example, one is the Stargate method of like hyperdrives, where you create pretty much you're not moving through real space, you're creating a subspace dimension, which allows you to move faster than the speed of light.
Oh, okay,
Huh.
okay.
And you can develop different engines to travel at different speeds in a new sublight dimension, like a subspace dimension. That's one method. There's another theoretical method, which is space folding,
Okay.
which
So
is similar
space-
to like in one example of this. No, black holes don't teleport things. All right, no, they don't. You think it,
No,
thinking of a wormhole.
no.
You're thinking of a wormhole.
Yeah.
But
Sci-fi
yeah,
sci-fi
yeah,
might like to make you believe that black holes can do something like that, but they don't.
the gravitational field, nothing actually survives going through the
Yeah,
event horizon of a black hole. But
they they make you like spaghetti basically to where it's just
spaghetti.
warps you into
Yeah.
nothingness.
Sure.
Be the most Filipino spaghetti.
But
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
like so the other method was space folding, which is what for example, Halo uses that with their slip space drives, where pretty much you're creating a bridge between two different points in space and you travel through it instantaneously.
Mm.
That's
I know that I know this is like kind of strange, but I know that they had talked about, since we brought up black holes, I know they had talked about, like, is it an actual infinite energy source? Black
um
holes?
no, it is not infinite
Okay.
because when a black hole dies, it expends all the mass and energy that it absorbed. It'll burn for eons and millennias. Like, I think they're called radial lobes, where it's pretty much like it's like the event horizon of a black hole, and then out both ends is a massive fissure of gas, energy, mass, and matter.
Okay.
It's
That
really
So
sounds
cool.
that makes
So
sense.
to us it's infinite, but in reality,
It will eventually burn out.
yeah. So
Yeah.
all things die. Got you. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Entropy
Hmm.
is a natural occurring phenomena throughout the entirety of the.
You just
Yeah,
don't
no, I
want to
know.
be near that thing for however many years it's going to be there.
Like it'll burn for millions, maybe even longer. Because
All
like a
right.
black hole, like I said before, like it is a gravity fissure in space. The reason why it's called a black hole is because you can't observe the center of it because not even light escapes the gravitational pull. It sucks in light particles as well.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
And see, the
Even
scary part
It's
about that is
wild.
we still don't fully know the black hole either. There's still much more we don't know.
dang.
What goes inside it, what goes on inside of it, no idea. But given that the massive gravitational fields that it generates, um, it's highly unlikely that anything can survive inside of a black hole attack.
All right. That also goes into our next question. Can we make space travel like in Star Trek a reality?
Warp drives, warp factor 7. I would say it's definitely well, when it comes to like a lot of these theoretical astrophysics sciences, if the theories can be proven true and you can actually power the damn thing, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. If
Oh,
it's
right.
it's definitely something that would have to be tested multiple times and proven again multiple times that it would be able to work.
I learned a lot from watching hours upon hours of PBS Space Time YouTube channel.
Oh, okay,
Very
that kind of
expensive adventure.
that kind of.
You saw them go through the
Yo,
tunnel. You're just like, ah, this is sci-fi.
Bi-directional elevators, of course. Like, what do you mean? Simple. Who cares about gravity, right? What's that? What?
There's actually a good
chocolate.
there's actually a good logic to those, elevators on board a ship that move in multiple directions. So pretty much just like a tram track, which will take you wherever you need to go. Built it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Hmm.
Although I'm more in favor of like, shipboard teleporters. Those are cooler. Matter transportation, whole matter issue, or whether or not we can beam people from place to place.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna say
I like the idea.
I
So
was gonna say
convenient.
the elevators are kind of like the same thing you would see in like the Harry Potter scene where the Ministry of Magic, the elevator is going from one place to another place, side to side.
Oh,
Same
yeah,
thing with
yeah.
the fucking Willy
Was
Wonka
it the ministry
elevator.
or was it the bank?
It was the Ministry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's when he's with Ron's dad.
Yeah, because the bank, I think they use isn't it just tracks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I mean that still too is magical in some kind of weird way.
I mean, it has to be magic. You know how unsafe those things are? They don't even have like seat belts. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, this will also go into question 7 here. Can interspace travel to faraway galaxies be possible in the future? How would you think this would benefit mankind?
Ooh, intergalactic
To
travel.
far,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
faraway galaxies.
Hmm.
I would say
We have plenty of rocks
I
that
was
do
gonna
cause
say
cancer.
I was gonna say kind of same thing with Goku's answer that like yeah, there's probably resources out in other galaxies that can help the human or Earth, race. Uh,
But there could also be dangers, like bringing back bacteria that
but
Oh yeah,
humans.
but
yeah,
that's
there's
that's an
also
easy thing to
that,
worry about.
and
Space
there's also
zombies.
the worrisome there's also the worrisome thing of other planets that you don't know if they're like inhabited by
Whatever
another
species
race
might
of
have developed there.
species. Yeah, and you don't
But
know if they're sentient or not to understand you or this, that, the other thing. So
Aren't there? Yeah. I was gonna say,
so
aren't there ranks of civilizations? Aren't we like a civilized? What aren't we like rank one or something? And then there's like two would be using the whole solar system through. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
like really
resistant.
though, like the thing is like once we're able to like tap into the asteroid belt beyond Mars, like the possibilities become almost limitless because that's the resources become worth near limitless as far as we're concerned.
Oh,
Hmm.
Like
I
all the
thought you were gonna
like
say
the
worth mining for.
yeah, being able to mine asteroids, and then even better if we can get to like say Jupiter or some of its moons, we can start mining slush.
Asteroid mining sounds fun.
Star
Like,
Citizen?
so when I say like mining slush, it's a term used in some sci-fi novels where it's like, so let's just say you know how like Jupiter, Saturn, they're gas giants. So you can harvest the gases from the atmospheres of those planets, and then find those into more materials.
The
Same thing
ga-
with like pulling up ice as well. Uh,
Oh,
I heard that there was a very interesting little technique you can do with terraforming. So one terraforming theory is to go ahead and make just to rapidly change the makeup of the atmosphere, hurl giant ice asteroids at the planet.
I want that job.
If we're talking about space mining rocks, there's a very good game that is in development that
No,
allows you to
no,
No, no, no,
mine rocks.
no, 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 no.
Is it involve short people?
No,
wait, does it involve
no.
short people? What?
No,
Okay,
Star
we're not.
Citizen.
We're
okay,
not.
okay.
Shut up. Shut.
Before we
Shut.
get off track there, next question is: can lightsabers be a possibility?
Oh yeah, they're
Yes,
working
How would
on it.
this
Absolutely.
benefit
Yes.
mankind, and how would this
it
be
wouldn't.
practical in combat in today's time?
I don't
Okay.
think
Wait.
I've seen what? Yeah, but like, oh man, like so, like in universe. Like so in universe, a lightsaber is an energy blade projected, and its shape and form is maintained by a magnetic field generator as well. Focusing crystal, like never mind the magic focusing crystal and everything, right? It is a practical idea if you break it down, because like there are theories around creating like even like plasma based energy shields, plasma and magnetic based energy shields are a possibility. But why would you want a melee weapon like that in
Can't
like
you
a
can't
sci-fi
you
war?
shoot that?
because
Couldn't
who
you
would
like use that as a laser?
It's a nice breach weapon when you're attacking enemy ships.
Okay. Um.
I can I say one thing before I go?
Okay.
Because I suddenly have to go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I personally don't think we're responsible enough to use lightsabers. Why don't we just have like light rifles?
We're
Oh, you
not
mean
responsible
like
enough.
plasma rifles?
Yes.
That would be interesting. Be a lot more in a it would be a lot more efficient way than to just use ammo, but then everybody would want them.
But there's
Oh man.
I'm sorry, but one more thing that would be great with lightsabers, the prosthetic business would boom like crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my.
right about that.
So many lost
You're right
limbs.
about that. Not just the prosthetic business, but the cybernetic business also. Um,
Lost an arm, we
Ukami,
got your back. Lost your legs, we got those too.
Oh,
It's like Lowe's, but limbs.
Oh, you're gonna do that? You're not even gonna be a good company at it too. Oh, you're
Oh
horrible.
man, this fit cost me an arm and a
uh,
leg.
Ukami. So you're
Wait, here's
asking,
well, I was gonna say here's a question from Swavy Terrain.
Ukami. So you're
Um,
asking, how can lightsabers be
wait, one at a time. What was
beneficial?
your question, Los? I'm sorry.
oh no, you're good. I was gonna Swavy Terrain was just asking, what would be like the maximum length of a lightsaber if
Max
if they were real? Yeah, like I mean, there has to be like a standard. Like what would the
size
length
doesn't
be?
matter.
And Swavy, I gave you an invite to join us here on the podcast.
He's so silly. He doesn't know how things work.
No.
That's okay.
So what you have
Nah,
to
he's
do is
on a
just
phone.
raise your hand and you just accept the, invite.
I don't even know. Oh, I see the raise hands at the top right corner.
There we go. Welcome,
Thank you very
Swavy,
much.
to Hoshido Eternals podcast.
How
Yeah,
you
go
doing,
ahead.
guys?
You can ask away your question.
All right, so I was asking if lightsabers are like lasers, basically, right?
Plasma, actually.
Plasma. Okay. But how long would that go, though? Like, say, like, I understand Star Wars and stuff like that, but it just doesn't seem realistic to me.
It's
I would assume that it would probably be a lot longer than what they actually are.
well, that's the thing. Because there's well, I don't know about current lore, but in old Star Wars lore, the main components of a lightsaber is the focusing crystal, the power emitter, the field generator, which is what actually has the lightsaber maintain its shape and size, and it is adjustable. You change the field in which the plasma is being contained in.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's that magnetic field that also keeps the lightsabers from crossing through each other. Because if they were just lasers, why would they? Why are they clashing? Like and intersecting? They would just pass through each other if they were lasers.
That makes sense.
Okay. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask before we move on to the next question.
About that, that was summed up for me very well.
Okay.
So I was going to ask Ukami, you were asking this as in how could lightsabers be beneficial
Beneficial,
to
and how would they be practical in armed combat in today's society?
Okay, so with armed combat,
Worthless.
I feel like if anybody got their hands on them, it would just be I feel like it would be worse than what we already have with armed combat.
Okay, it's better than a knife,
Yes.
yes, but not better than a gun. So what's the point?
Yes. Um well, I mean, if you're quick, well, see, we're not Jedi or anything, so we can't be quick enough to see when the fucking bullets are coming. So they wouldn't be able to melt the bullets right away. So now I feel like it wouldn't be beneficial for Earth because watch the last episode of Rick and Morty season 6. All Morty has to do is play with a lightsaber and have it go down vertically, and
Oh, that's
it's
that
going
robot
straight,
chicken joke.
and it goes straight down to the Earth's core.
No, that's
What
literally a robot chicken joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they show it in Rick and Morty, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do if a lightsaber goes down to the Earth, and starts heading to the Earth's core? Like, and if we're talking about it being becoming a reality,
Oh,
that's worse.
so I have a question about that. So there's a lot of there's a big inconsistency that leads to a question of when does a lightsaber turn off, right? So for example, we see
I was
when
gonna ask,
when they get it knocked out of their hands, it turns off right away, right?
turns off, right?
But when they throw it, it stays on.
Well, I guess it could be assumed that the throw has some type of force behind it, like literally like the force. So whatever the triggering mechanism is, they keep it pressed. But when
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
knocked out,
thinking.
right? But and then haven't we seen people actually wield lightsabers using the force? That is a
Yes.
thing we've seen, right?
Yeah, like
So
Kreia uses three.
so
She
I
just
guess
force
if you
wheels 3 lightsabers.
yeah, she was right. So I guess if you just tie a bunch of rubber bands around once, I mean, it sounds silly, right? But I guess you could use something to jam it to keep it on, and then
Yeah, like is the lightsaber held on by like a trigger,
that's a good
or
question. I never thought about it.
Yeah,
Is it
because
will? Like, is it will?
yeah, because there's a lot of variations. There are a lot of variations on lightsabers. So
But it can't be the
yeah,
force though. 'Cause General Grievous uses everyone's lightsaber, like if he has it, lightsaber. Like, so it's
oh
like
yeah,
there has to be a trigger. There has to be a trigger mechanism.
oh yeah. So that's a good question. So like I know at one point they did change the canon to like your lightsaber, especially like the lightsaber color, it reflects you as a person. So like you don't choose your lightsaber color, your lightsaber color chooses you, right? But what does that do
yeah,
with General Grievous?
He
And
just don't
also
yeah.
like
care.
Because he's not technically a bad person. He's just a separatist, right? And he's
and then
working with and he takes the lightsabers of the Jedi's he's killed.
no, it's not even that. It flies in the face that like a lightsaber is unique to the user.
Yes.
But it's not the case. I mean, General Grievous can kill a Jedi and take his lightsaber and use it just fine.
Yeah. But
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. And
there's been a
George
lot of
Lucas was
changes.
like
Things don't make sense
George,
all the time.
George Lucas when he was talking to Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, "Well, what kind of lightsaber do you want?" And he's like, "I want a purple." And he's like, "Well,
Well, they
we
come in
usually
green
go
and
with
blue.
we come with green, blue, and sometimes orange." And he's like, "Nah, I want a purple."
I mean, that is true. It's I guess the color is way out there though, right? Are there actually any canon pink lightsabers?
uh, canon?
Yeah,
I
like
don't think so.
actually, it's like no,
Because
right?
there were pink lightsabers in old like comics, but if they're like since they're old, they're not canon.
Okay.
Same thing with like silver, cyan, viridian, all the cool colors.
Yeah.
Oh, so all the ones that are like that cost money to animate and stuff. Okay, got you.
Yeah,
It's
same
like
thing with the video game Jedi Survivor, right? Like you can change the color of your lightsaber from blue, green, indigo, cyan, magenta, violet, purple, like all these different colors, and then all the way at the end of the spectrum is white. And then I don't know
Why
why
does-
white is there. And then and then and then if you beat the game and start the game New Game Plus, then you have a red lightsaber. Ooh, like
Oh, okay. It's like a
yeah,
is red Sith? I don't even doesn't Darth Maul
yes,
have red?
Yeah,
yes, red
very
red
yes,
similar.
is
Oh, wait,
red
is there
is
a black lightsaber? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, there
It's
is
yeah,
actually.
the dark
yeah,
saber.
okay. Okay.
yeah. It's supposed to be for Mandalorians.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
like
because
I think like isn't the lore like the first Mandalore killed the Jedi and that was that, or some Force user and that was
yeah,
their lightsaber?
one of the legendary Mandalorians fought a Jedi in battle and killed that Jedi and took their lightsaber and repurposed it. And because of the repurposing, they turned into a dark saber instead. And it
Yeah,
has a weird kind of curved blade. It actually looks like a laser,
katana,
like a katana of some sort. And whoever wields the dark saber becomes the leader
Mandalore,
and ruler of all of Mandalore.
become the new Mandalore.
Yeah, that's
Well,
part of the creed.
I liked it better when it was a helmet that determined,
Yeah,
who was the next Mandalore. But they can do what they want.
All right. Well, we'll go into our next question. I think this question was asked before in our last hi-fi podcast episode.
I swear to God.
Uh, how can a nuclear bombs be launched from outer space? Would it be practical? And how would this benefit governments of Earth?
Maybe have
It
the
would
case of it
not.
insane first.
Oh, it's very practical. There's no reason why it wouldn't. Would it be a good thing? No, that's terrifying.
Well, I mean, most of the stuff we do isn't good and terrifying. So,
I mean, we do
but
have a space satellite by the United States government called the Tears of God, where it shoots down rods, but it kind of creates devastating damage
At
wherever
least,
the
but it's
impact is.
non-nuclear. That's at least
No,
it's
no, no, no. I
non-nuclear.
know. I'm not trying to make that comparison. I'm just saying that we do have scary stuff in space.
Oh, I'll just say like there's no like lasting radiation effects. It's just even more destructive, but long lasting effects of using like
It was
tungsten
last
rods.
used and tested in, I believe, somewhere in Afghanistan, and they blew up and flattened the mountains there.
I
Yeah,
yeah, that was
Operation Starfish. Yeah.
Operation Starfish Prime. Yeah, that was
Well, the effects
well,
are different from what it was studied from it because it went 400 meters above that atmosphere of Earth, and when it hit, you'll see pretty colors that you shouldn't stare at.
well, yeah, and then after that, the fallout from that rained across wherever the fallout was, I forget.
Hawaii.
Uh uh but it supposedly lasted for 10 years.
What we do know is that they fucked up. All right. Um, do you think UFOs are aliens scouting our planets for warfare? Do you believe that UFOs are actually real, or do you think it's a conspiracy made up by the United States government?
I believe UFOs are real. They are scouting, and they see us, and they're very disappointed, and they realize, you know what? We just gotta
Yeah,
wait it out.
yeah, yeah. I I believe
I
see,
believe
I believe
UFOs are just technologies from
Like,
other countries and our countries probing each other, and neither country wants to admit that they're sending drones or technology that they don't want the other country to know of.
but
you
that's
know,
not
the year
fun.
the transistor
you
dropped, a
know,
lot
It's
of
practical.
crazy stuff happened that year. In fact, our first UFO sighting was the same year the transistors came out. So it is
you
a high
know,
possibility that we did build the first UFOs, but I mean, let's just be real, like they're never gonna admit that. Like
I
the transistor itself is a miracle. That doesn't even make sense how they came up with that. I mean, that thing has revolutionized the world, man. Like what?
Yeah, do you know like Fallout? That's an alternate reality where the transistor was never invented. Yeah,
That's
so
yeah.
I did not know that. That's insane.
Yeah, that's like the core basis of the like that direction that that world took. The transistor was never invented. That's why everything is like small nuclear, atomic generators.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the transistor is ridiculous, and it keeps getting smaller. Yeah, yeah. I think it was. I know there were at least 2 to 3 responsible here, and I think there was one person in an Eastern country that claimed that he had invented it the same year. I forget what year it was. Yeah, I forget what year it was, but it was. I mean, that one year there was a lot of crazy events that happened. Was it? Yeah, you check that.
uh
hmm But
I
see, I'm not
was
really sure how they could pump out UFOs that fast, though. Like, I don't really know. You believe in the
Yeah.
lizard aliens under the ground or the little gray men?
Yeah, have you not seen Mark Zuckerberg?
Have you not seen
Okay.
George Bush?
I'm not gonna lie, Zuck does look like he
I
does look
like
like
the
an AI
joke that
star.
his wax statue at like the Facebook headquarters looks more human and lifelike than he does in person.
It does, yeah.
That's actually pretty
So
cool.
That's hilarious.
so yeah, I feel that UFOs are I don't feel like they're like probes from other countries just scouting on each other. But like I mean like sure
I
that's
mean,
probably
definitionally they can be
they can
unidentified
be,
flying
yes.
object.
They can be, yes. Like that's what UFO stands for,
Right? Yeah,
unidentified
yeah.
flying
Not
objects.
necessarily
But
alien.
it's not necessarily alien. They can be, but I don't see something that big as a drone, right? When we think of unidentified flying objects, we think of the flying saucers, right? And if a flying saucer or something like that is that big, why would somebody build a drone that big in the first place just to spy on another country?
I have a
That
question.
doesn't make sense.
Uh, I have a
Yeah, if
question.
we're already
What is
making small
what
ones.
is the likelihood that like during the Cold War, the Soviet Union thought like classified the SR-71 Blackbird as a UFO?
Probably pretty high. Probably,
No,
especially
they're
if they had
too
never
weak, too
seen one
paranoid
before.
to think that it wasn't American.
Mhm.
They would just
Yeah.
think, oh, America.
Um, but yeah, I'm with Rin on this. I think that they most likely are aliens, and they look at us like, wow, these this planet. Yeah, no, we're not going to attack these people. They're
Whoa,
too
whoa,
far
whoa, whoa,
gone.
whoa! I don't want you to make people think I'm crazy. I like the memeing idea that there's aliens. All right.
Which goes into our next special question. It's a hypothetical. If we have first contact with aliens from faraway galaxies in space, what would be the first thing you do or ask the alien? Would attempting learning their language be beneficial for us and the rest of mankind? Or should
Hey,
we be precautious and put the aliens in an experimental lab for testing to understand their biology?
Okay,
I would
so
like
for
to answer
one,
this one.
Go
All right.
ahead.
so
Yeah, go on, Sweetie.
Okay. So I've actually thought about this a lot. And I feel as though putting them in the lab is not the right answer. I feel as though if we show hostility to them first, because that's what it would be if they end up in a
yeah,
lab,
yeah.
things can go very left. Because if they have the technology to get here and we can't get there, in a way they got the upper hand. Even though we kind of on a home territory kind of thing, but it's just like
we
I'm pretty sure
Independence
they would
Day
have weapons or maybe
got them
or
locked up in a lab,
any
Area 51.
or any like they could be beast. I mean, be
Yeah,
honest, they could be very strong, kind of abnormal. They could do pretty much anything, and
You're
I
not
do
talking about
not
the little
want to
gay
do
boys.
anything. I'm
Oh,
just saying.
yeah, I agree with that.
I want to give my answer. So, if we ever have a first contact, I think we should follow the initial, like the universal first contact protocol. We give them the universal greeting, "Ba wheat gra na wheat mini bong."
What the
If they
fuck?
don't vibe, then whatever happens, happens.
You mean we put them
No,
in testing tubes?
I feel no, I feel like we should give them the Rick and Morty greeting, peace among worlds, giving them the middle finger, and
Why, hello
no,
there, Arachno.
um, but no, in all seriousness, I feel it would be a lot more beneficial for us to learn their language so we can understand each other, and that way, go with diplomatic proceedings from there. So that way, nobody has to put anybody in a lab.
Hmm. I think language would just be the easier thing for us anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, we're pretty much moving towards a Babelish civilization where language is just convenience with the tools that we have. I mean, I'd say in 10 years, our translation tools will be so in real time that speaking to another person, I mean, it's just going to be, what do you want to sound like to yourself when you're talking? Because I'm going to hear you in whatever language, the translator
Oh.
spits back to me that I understand.
Oh, so two things. One, I do like. I think it would be very beneficial if we have like the Firefly route, where eventually, when we do become spacefaring, like whatever two major powers, like in Firefly, it was America and China. Everyone just speaks America and Chinese. That's it. All other languages are just gone. Those are the only two languages that matter: American, Chinese.
I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to be the guy to give you the bad news, Ren, but like,
Yeah. What do you mean
you
bad
know,
news?
I mean, Spanish is technically the second most spoken language, but
I said dominant powers.
that's okay. That is true. I mean, we know that territories, and then we're not gonna get into it. But yeah, no, I agree. I feel like that would make the most sense, right?
Eventually, humanity is gonna have to consolidate our languages eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Like, and with the Neuralink stuff, I tell you, man, there's gonna come a point in time where people are just not gonna care anymore.
Yeah,
Just
because
teach your kids whatever, and we're all gonna hear the same thing.
sci-fi novel I was reading, they have these dermal implants in their brains, which allow them to link and connect, communicate with each other practically telepathically, and it leads to a very good society because there's just less secrets. People are
I always
more
thought about
open.
it. I always thought about it as, you guys ever seen Fallen Skies?
That sounds familiar. Let me
Yeah,
look it up.
it's a TV show. It's basically like an alien invasion against humanity and to take over the planet. But at some point, some aliens don't agree with what their race is trying to do with terraforming and stealing resources from us and
Oh,
things like that.
I've seen a little bit of this. Yes.
It's so basically the humans end up befriending some of the aliens, and then there's like hostile aliens, and it's like a big war basically. And I feel like I always seen it to be something like that. Like at some point, there's always gonna be a radical party where it's like they agree and then some disagree. Feel me? So it's like,
I mean, and that's interesting though, because when you think about it, that would go into the type of alien that we come in contact with. If we're thinking of singularity, right? Then it's really just one giant thing acting on the behalf of its own will, and there's no other parts to it. But you're right. If it's not all just one giant thing, there has to be some type of division somewhere. I can't even imagine conscious species, just everyone having their own free will and consciousness and just saying, yeah, I agree with that. Like all of them everywhere, just saying, yeah, that's fine. I mean, unless we're like ants to them, in which case, who cares about someone stomping out an anthill, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
unless it's like a collective hive mind.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, it could be that way too.
Well, I have a special question for you guys. This came from a viewer from the last sci-fi podcast. They asked, should we allow human beings to splice cells into human animal, creating subhuman, for the idea having half human and half animal containing the respective traits from both halves? Is this humane to do? If not, then explain why. Or if it's beneficial, explain why you think so.
That's interesting. You want to take this one, Gemini?
No,
I
okay. Just
I mean, okay.
I
I know
think
that we have.
You
furry is
got
going to
this.
be a
You
thing
got
now.
this.
man.
All right. I'm gonna start us off in a direction, and then you can, if you feel the vibe, you can pick it up and keep going with it. I know that we grow, like we do almost all our testing on animals first, and I know that we grow human body parts from animals, and we can graft them off and use them and make them operable. I know that they clone animals already, so
Yes,
it's
we do clone
probably,
parts of
yeah.
chicken. They're not as good.
Absolutely.
Not as
No,
good.
Burger King's $1 10
Oh
chicken
my
nugget
god.
specials, bro. No, I'm sorry. That's cloning. All right, I'm not gonna. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, the
Also
whole point being
garbage.
though It's terrible, but that's because it's cheap and it's clone. No, all right, stop. Wait. Anyway,
It's cheap and it's cloned.
the whole point is, I'm pretty sure that in all of the various steroids we have, that they're over there splicing together some animal human genes, and I just don't think that it's gonna be the way that we think it is. Like who here takes a DNA test and says I'm 13% chicken? But I mean, like, let's be real, though, right? But I'm saying we don't test for that.
I mean, I
It's
would
a
oppose.
possibility. Like, I'm just saying, like, when they start talking about regrowing limbs and enhancing eyesight, I mean, a lot of drugs are coming out. They're doing some really wonky kind of things, reversing stigmatisms. I don't know how they're doing that. It's like, we might already be there, and the future just isn't always what it seems. Like hoverboards were not Back to the Future. Like,
Oh my god.
you know.
I was
I
wondering
know
somebody gonna talk about that.
They're so garbage. They're so disappointing. Hoverboards we have.
Well, you have to have a
I
whole
mean,
magnetic
somewhere-
feel for it. It's just not plausible.
Even fucking Christopher Lloyd apologized for that. He's like, I didn't know they were gonna turn out like this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I may interject, as someone that is pro for bioengineering and DNA splicing, if implemented correctly, the possibilities are endless. Like, for instance, you can say that, oh, we are DNA splicing animals and human DNA together to create subhumans, but how would I word this correctly? Take, for instance, there are some animals with regenerative abilities. What if we were to implement that DNA trait into our species
Like a
as
gecko.
humans?
Yeah,
able to
like
regrow
Spider.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
they talked
okay,
about it in
okay.
Spider-Man. Remember?
Million.
That's Spider-Man talk.
Wait. So, taking a gene from an animal is different than gene splicing it into
it's
a
not.
person. Yes,
That's
it
what I'm
is.
saying. No, it's not.
How? How
You are
is taking a
splicing out.
gene from an animal? How is taking one gene, one selective gene
That's still gene
from an
splicing.
animal?
Yeah.
That's part of the DNA. Genes are.
No, but in this scenario, it's to make a subspecies.
I mean, if we
That
are
takes
if
a
we are
lot
talking,
of gene splicing. I'm
if we
talking about taking
still-
one.
Still gene splicing. though.
That's not my
it's just
point.
one out of like what 20 or 25,000 genes
That's
that
not
a
my
human
Stem
body
point.
cells
has.
don't play a part in any of this,
Listen.
right? Like, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but we're not talking about stem cells or anything here, right?
No.
Like, I don't.
No.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no.
I'm gonna just
That-
back up.
see that-
So-
But what I'm saying that, like, just imagine a future where we are taking aspects of DNA from different animals, incorporating to humans. We would still be considered no longer purely human. We would still be some sort of subhuman species by that point, because we
No.
are altering.
Yeah, well, how much of that
No.
actual foreign
How
gene
much-
takes over?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's
Are
because
we-
you can put a piece on top of one and then it does do nothing but help that one part stay
Like,
together.
right.
Because
Okay.
I'm going
ham and
to
cheese
use.
sandwich versus a cheese and ham sandwich.
Okay. So all right.
I'm
All
trying
right.
to
Gemini.
use-
Wait. Hold on.
I'm
Gemini.
going to use Stargate Atlantis, right, as a reference. They used a alien gene and injected it into somebody else who is human, right? That was
Okay.
one gene from an alien. That does
Well,
not make that
actually,
person.
Well, I'm going to correct you there because humans are the descendants of the ancient, and it's just boosting up an incredibly dormant.
Okay, but my
Mhm.
point
Different,
is
different
that
story. They're
but
not
that-
changing the human genome.
okay, but that doesn't make them any less human now, does it?
No, because the
No,
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 you're not talking about the same thing. All right. So how about this? Let me ask you this question, Gemini. How much owl DNA do I have to splice my DNA with before I become not human? Let me ask you that. At what point? But to you, what point?
we don't have that research.
That's
don't
not
have that
that's not the
research because
question.
That's
No,
what I'm
yes,
saying. Though.
it
Ham and
is.
cheese versus cheese and ham. You have a sandwich, and it's ham. Listen, a
Yes,
ham and cheese sandwich is
we
a sandwich that
do.
has mostly
Oh,
ham with
let's hear
slices of
this.
cheese.
We need that research to exactly know.
But that's not my
Because
question.
if
Like
you're
to
'cause
you.
if you're making
No,
if you
no, no.
want gene splicing to make a subspecies, it doesn't subspecies to
alright.
me
Alright,
is
sorry,
if
hold on,
you're
hold on.
half
Hold on.
human and half animal.
What would
If
you
you're
say?
showing
Would you say
you're half
modified
animal,
genes?
Hold on. I
if
wanna
you're
wanna
making half animal, if you're making more half animal like decisions, and then you still have the brain of a human, then yes, then you're subspecies. But just because you have some like testing genes inside you does not make you subspecies.
Does a
Okay, so that's
Neanderthal
your
count as a
answer is
human?
50%.
I have to. Can
No,
I
that's
chime in,
not what I'm
please?
saying.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Sway.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay,
All right.
let's. Sorry.
Wait, one at a time. Sway, go ahead.
All right. So there's a movie called Splice. I literally watched this in
Oh,
biology
I like that
class. It's a
movie.
movie.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah. If you understand this, then I feel like this pretty much speaks for itself. But I'll explain it for those who haven't seen it. It's basically about scientists who specialize in gene splicing and things like that. And eventually they ended up doing experiments with human DNA, even though they wasn't supposed to. They actually created something that became something more than what they expected, which was like basically a super creature, which could have been like a superhuman.
Oh,
In
I
a
didn't
way,
want
it's
its
like,
sex.
okay, yeah, everybody was getting it, but the point though is like I feel as though even if you do splice genes, I feel like you would be able to have some type of abilities, or if anything, they would have accelerated mental prowess, kind of, if you think about it, because that's exactly what happened in the movie. Like the creature was just too intelligent for its own good.
But that's interesting though, right? Because if we just kind of flip it a little bit, since we're talking about animals, at what point, if you mix biotech with a person, would they become considered a machine instead of human?
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to go ahead and get like hammered down. Like, what is the question of the argument? So it's like, all right, so at what point so if I were to go ahead and splice my DNA, right, to give myself like with owl DNA, so I have better vision in the dark, right? Does that make me a subspecies of human? If the answer is no, then at what point would I become a subspecies of human? How much DNA do I have to splice? That's my
I hate
question.
to be the
I
one.
would say if you put more owl DNA in you and you start acting more like an
More than
owl, then
50%.
yes.
So more than 50%.
So more than 50%. Yeah. That
Yes.
sounds okay.
That's what I
If
was
you
asking.
have if you have less if you have less of the human gene in you and you have more of the animal gene in you to start acting like an animal, then that makes you of a subspecies to me.
What if you have a collectively you have more animal genes, but they're a mixture, and then you have more human than all the other animal genes except when
Yeah,
they're
if
combined?
human's still the dominant. Let's just say like
Yeah.
I'm
Let's say it's
30%
60-40,
human, but then I'm
yeah.
10% of like 7 different animals. Am I still human or am I
Mhm.
subspecies? I'm still majority human.
See, I find that, and it's interesting too because we kind of have those kind of issues now when you talk about, and we're not gonna go down this whole rabbit hole with this. But when you start talking about like DNA tests, you kind of see that stuff.
Okay, if you're at least 5%
start.
black, you're black. Let's be real.
Hey, but you know what's crazy though? Have you ever seen someone be considered actually like black on a DNA test, like African American? I've never actually seen those words on a DNA test before.
Oh, really?
That's a whole nother conversation though. I don't want to go down that route, but I'm just saying though. I'm just saying we have that kind of issue already. I'm gonna tell you, man, it's gonna be messed up. It's gonna be a problem no matter how you cut it, man.
I was thinking like that college Schubert sketch where it's just like it's just like, oh, like I'm like 30% Asian, but then it's just like, okay, but do you do all these other like Asian cultural things? It's like no, but then it's just like I'm 5% black, you're black.
I mean, but then it's like, when do you get the inward? All right, my fault. Let's move on. My bad. Anyway, my fault. I don't want to. I don't want to go down that. My bad. That's
Well, here's an extension to the question. It was asked by a audience member. Um, if scientists mastered the engineering of DNA enhancements, eliminating the idea of bad genetic traits in human beings, how would this positively benefit humankind? How would it negatively impact humankind? Would you support
Oh,
the idea of DNA enhancements or would you be against it? Explain why.
I am 100% for coordinators. Yes.
Obviously, I'm for bioengineering and
I'll be
anything body
supportive of it.
I
modificating.
mean, if we could just eliminate the gene that makes humans susceptible to things like sickle cell or types of cancer, why wouldn't we do that?
Exactly.
I think the goalpost always moves. I think like when you talk about the
Yeah.
perfect human and you start to talk about the perfect things, let's say flat out no one has any problems. That's never going to be the case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because some
At that
people
point,
will
then it's
always
like,
just everyone, at some point it's just going to be, well, I'm just slightly more perfect than you. So, and just keep on 'cause they always
You
move the
mean
goalposts, right?
jealousy with other people
Yeah.
that are not coordinators.
for a blue
Because
and clear world.
because no matter if that technology was there or not, people
Don't some people
people
already remove
growing up.
themselves from the human gene pool through their behaviors and actions?
What?
No, that's not what we're talking about. Stop.
Okay, no. What I was gonna say is that
I'm just saying there are social practices that encourage
That's not
people
what we're
to not
talking
participate
about.
no,
in.
that's not what. Okay, no, I'm saying with genes in general, everybody always has bad ones. Like, but if the technology somehow did come across to where we could eliminate quote unquote bad genes, whatever those are, um, sure. But again, like Los was saying, like you're only moving the goalpost of what would be a perfect human.
Yeah, and I mean that's just humans' desire for meaning of
Yeah,
life,
for
right?
being
I mean,
better. Yeah.
yeah, like it's like let's say there's no problems at all, then it's gonna be, well, we're gonna start creating artificial problems. Like, okay, you're a perfect human, right, Ren? But you're not six
Oh, thank you for
nine.
noticing.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just saying though, it's like sure you can't get sickle cell or cancer or any of that other stuff, but you're not 6'9", so
I
technically
mean,
you're not perfect. I mean.
to be
That's how we just
fair,
start doing things.
in a world where bioengineering is possible, you don't have to worry about height. You can alter height at a whim. We already
Yeah.
have surgeries to alter height, but it's still in its how do I say it? In its primitive state.
I
So
would say if you're worried about your height, then you're very insecure.
Well, but
Height is
Yeah,
like
actually
most
very
humans are
important
very
as
that's
it
insecure
does
though.
most
to give you
things,
an edge
though.
when it
Everybody
comes
gets
to being
plastic
selected from the
surgery.
female mate selection process.
but I'm just
Yes,
saying, in a world where
See, less of an insecurity,
bioengineering
more of an actual factor.
Actually, I have a question. In a world where bioengineering is possible and you can change your looks at a whim, are there still going to be certain beauty standards
we
at that
can
point?
we can choose our looks at a
Absolutely.
whim. It's called
Absolutely. It's going to be
plastic
the
It's
more
always going to be
surgery.
expensive
whoever's the
engineering.
It'll
tallest,
always
even
be
if you
like
just
that.
increase it by like 5 feet
It's like
or
Imagine
about 5
imagine
inches.
all of
That's going to be
life.
the standard. Whatever's tallest.
I can
I'm just
imagine.
no,
I'm
go
going
ahead.
to go off on a whim here and say we can change our looks at a whim. It's called plastic surgery as long as you have the money.
Yeah,
And
but
that's what I
most
was gonna
people,
say though.
but
Money
most,
is still a factor in that, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
It is. But I feel like
And
bioengineering, like altering, would be a little different than plastic surgery. Would that be
oh, it
more of a
would. No,
affected
no,
thing?
yeah, it would. But here's the problem, right? Let's say that because height is a good one, and you're right. Let's say you can change your height at whim. You cannot change your environment at whim, though. And so let's say I am a person with a lot of money. I can put my house ceiling, let's just say 100 feet in the air. Now I can just become a giant at will. But a person living in a small duplex or in an apartment, even if they can do it, they cannot do it to the extent or freedom that I can. And so environment becomes the limiting factor because money will always be a thing. I mean, currency, transactions, right? And so it's like, sure, you can be the perfect person whenever you want to be, but is your environment going to allow you to be that person? You know
In
what I
that
mean? I mean,
situation,
that's
height will be directly correlated with wealth. So it also means that if you find someone who's tall, that's a higher chance that they're also wealthy.
Ooh. I want to throw a really interesting wrench at this one. So what if we
Okay.
get to the point where we have genetic sculpting at conception? Let's just say like you plan to have a baby, and like before you even like conceive the
Okay.
baby, we can genetically sculpt the height, physical appearance, all physical attributes of the child.
Oh man.
So we
They already
know.
do
Nah,
So
that
we
for
know.
At that point,
Wait.
yeah.
So
sperm
we know
banks.
that
Nah.
China. So we know that China is attempting to do that, and they have 2 kids. And what is it? Is it CERN? I forget what it is, but that project that they have, where they are claiming that they have 2 children, and they are test tube children with all the genetics handpicked and stuff like that. And I mean, I think, and that's why I said like some of this stuff is kind of fascinating because the reality of the conversations don't always go the way we plan. But according to China, they've done that at least to 2 people. Now, whether
I
we ever know it, whether it's true or not, that's a whole different statement.
I was going to say also we do kind of have like we don't have the technology to sculpt genetically, but we do have the technology to take, let's say, all the good genes from one parent here and then all the good genes of one parent here and then make a test tube baby.
Yeah.
To me, that is still
But what if we did?
that's
Like
not
how? Like what would that world be like? That's the interesting question.
I think it would be the same though. Like, okay,
it would be
what is the more perfect of a perfect gene? It can be hard to conceive. Like, it can be hard
I there,
conceptually, right?
like I think if it's to that degree, it's a matter of it just falls to personal preference.
Well, all right. Use memory as an example, right? No matter how perfect things go, there will always just be some memories that will just be better at certain situations than others. I think that money starts to play a factor if you're talking about
Yes.
perfect photographic memory, right? From like, okay, let's say that everyone has photographic memory, but from how long ago? My photographic memory might be longer than Ren's photographic memory,
Yeah,
but
right.
then Ren's eyesight might be better in certain
It is.
distances than mine, right? Well, and that is true. but I'm saying though, right? It's like we kind of live in this weird reality where I think it's just gonna be a more fucked up as it is, capitalist version of what we kind of already have. Like
Yes.
instead
Like
of buying glasses, it'll be buying genetics and stuff like
Cyberpunk,
that.
like
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, Blade
Hey,
Runner.
yeah,
yeah, and I can see
I
that.
didn't want to go on that. Like, but
Like
yeah, pretty much.
as though as everyone can be able to alter their DNA or change their appearance at will, I could assume that some genetics or even cybernetic enhancements are going to be gatekeep to the elite.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, oh
Rich
yeah.
people need
Let's.
something exclusive to make them feel special.
I mean, look at how we treat AI already, right? I mean, some of these AI tools that exist today, companies have been using for like 10, 12 years, and it's hitting the market, and we're all like, oh my God. And then there's people that have been working 100, 200 jobs a year using some of these AI tech tools just to automate work for them. And it's like, that's insane, dude. Like, they'll always gatekeep something.
I
It's
forgot what it was. Like yeah, that's how it is. Like for example, and then there's also the marketability of things. Like the first digital camera was made like decades before they became mainstream, but it's just like it wasn't marketable, so why bother with it?
That is true. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And the tablet was kind of like that when Microsoft did it. And then Bill Gates kind of fumbled the bag there, and then Apple came along, and everybody was like, "Oh, iPad, that's nice." Like, marketability is a thing. And then you look at drawbacks, like let's say
And
photographic memory. What's a drawback to that? You remember everything for a
too,
certain period
you
of
remember
time.
too much.
Exactly. I mean,
And
there's a
Yeah,
lot of
wait,
messed up stuff
but
that happen.
then we could also market selective memory deletion.
You're right.
true.
But then
We
who
breed
gets to
a
oversee?
whole new industry.
Wait, but that's like a
and,
Black Mirror episode right there.
Yeah.
I
and
know
then
where
and
you're
then
getting
and
that
then you
from.
get the
I've
Mandela
seen
effect.
that.
Yeah,
see,
right. But then you
The
get the Mandela
Mandela
effect going
effect.
crazy. Like, like,
Wait,
like, like, think about it. Let's
wait,
just
wait.
say that you
Is
can
he
mass
dead
delete
now
selective
though?
memories.
Is he dead
That
now?
Right. Well, was he ever alive?
Was he ever alive?
Like that's the thing. Like it becomes like, was Dr. Seuss real? I don't. It seems kind of a doctor named Seuss. Come on, dog. That's no way.
Wait, hold
And
on,
then it's
hold on.
like, well, he's gone. That's it. That guy is just gone from history forever. Like
See, like,
you know.
Okay,
I-
he is dead. All right. Okay, good.
I see. Like, I feel like with the like obviously the elites are going to keep things to themselves, and that, but also I feel like the marketability also has a lot to do with it because they also don't know how to like. Yes, people with money are going to get the exclusivity things that aren't out yet, and I would also say the poorer version of things, but they're also going to the market is like they're trying to figure how to market this thing to people. So that also is a hindrance in what makes things take longer to get out to, I will say, the quote unquote common folk.
Mhm. It's true though. You're right. I mean, being able to sell something require. You know what? If you create a cure, you have to have a disease for it to be cured, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, I mean, what's easiest to sell? Problems or solutions? Solutions. So you create problems and then you sell the solution.
Solution.
But a
Yep.
lot of times, we come across a solution first, and then we say nobody needs this, and then we say let's create the problem that requires us to sell this. Like,
Yeah, loot
look at
boxes.
you, toothpaste. Or
Loot
okay.
box.
I
I
was
was
thinking
gonna say
toothpaste. You were thinking okay.
I was thinking cancer, but okay.
Oh, he's
But
one. Okay.
but yeah, like that is true. There's two ways you can sell somebody something. You can sell them a solution to a problem, or you can sell them a lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's old school snake oil salesman kind of thing.
No, well, you're not selling snake oil. I mean,
No, no, no. I'm just saying they use the same kind of thing. They're just like, oh,
you have a
well, you
problem.
have this ailment, you have this, da da da. We have the solution, even though it's just literally John R. Brinkley fucking selling blue colored water to people and saying, inject this into yourself, and you will be cured of any ailment. You won't have polio. You won't have acne. You won't have heart attacks. Da 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 da. Yeah, that's an old practice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I
I mean,
remember I was going to like English Town, the big flea market, and there were literal snake oil salesmen. Miracle cure, back pains, neck pains, leg pains, that knee replacement that you got, we make it go away. Miracle cure. It's just like right there in the middle of the flea market. Like I almost respect the hustle.
I mean, back when it was a thing, yeah, I respect it. I don't respect the people doing it, but hey, they had to make it living somehow.
Well, people are their actions, so if you respect the action, you respect the people.
That is not true.
All right. Well, anyway, what's our next question, Kami?
Um, it seems like I know this kind of fan here. Um, if humankind managed to create multiple or hundreds of space colonies in space at the Lagrange points, would you migrate to one of these space colonies for the chance of living a new kind of life that's not on Earth? How would
I would be too afraid of them getting nuked, so no.
Okay, well, there's more to the question. How would this
oh shit.
migration benefit you? And if no, how would it not benefit you as a human? Well, let's go with that since you said no, Rin. How would it not benefit you besides nukes?
Okay, my actual answer, I think it's nothing but benefit. The only downside I could see is literally Gundam, where it's just like, rich people live in space, poor people live on Earth, in that anti-spatian or anti oh wow, Witch from Mercury spoiled me. I don't know what space noids. There we go. Anti-space noid sentiment. That's
Oh
the only
no.
real downside of
You mean
yeah.
racism from Earth? Got it.
Yeah.
Don't you dare say the line.
Zig Zion.
All I remember, all I remember
Oh my
from
god.
all I remember from that Gundam is just happy birthday.
So I
Beaver.
watched it with you. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. We did. Yeah.
Yeah, you watched it with me and Eric, and I got so upset at that part. And you're like, "Yeah, this is a Gundam series."
Yeah, it's dark. Gundam's dark. But yes.
Anyone else want to add to the question here? We'll start with Arachno.
It thoroughly depends on how far the planet this colony has modified, and also what kind of stuff they produce locally.
Wait, what do you mean by planet? You're still
Oh,
hovering on Earth.
oh,
Yeah.
you mean space colonies?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the
So, like,
Lagrange points.
Yeah, the Lagrange points are. I think there's 7 of them, right?
Yeah.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Those are 7.
Yeah, they're pretty much very optimal geosynchronous orbits around Earth.
Probably not, realistically. Not while they're just floating around space.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm stuck on the Gundam series that we're not gonna name. I completely forgot the question. I see now. I'm thinking about that happy birthday scene, and I'm like scarred. I'm sorry. What?
I'm
What
sorry.
was the
Okay,
question?
okay,
Sorry.
I'll
That was my
reiterate.
fault.
Wait, hold on. I'll reiterate the question. If humankind managed to create multiple or hundreds of space colonies in outer space at the Lagrange points, would you migrate to one of these space colonies for a chance of living to a new kind of life that's not on Earth? How would this migration benefit you? And if no, how would it not benefit you as a human being? So I'll ask that last part to Arachno here, and then for you, Los, you can answer the full question.
Um. Okay. I don't know why. I don't remember the movie. I went to see it with somebody, and I remember the only thing I remember was they were in space, and there's like a whole the spaceship is huge, and it has like trees and stuff in it, and people were. It's kind of like Wally, but it had a destination. But I guess that's the only fear for me. Like, what if I get on one of those and they know they're just launching us into the void, but they just don't tell us that? And they're just kind of like, you guys will get there
Exactly.
eventually, just right. Like that's my fear about it. Is it's like anything outside of our solar system. I'm kind of like, what if I never get there? Like I don't know. I
Can I
think
say something controversial?
Well, before that, do you mind answering the very last part of the question? How would it not benefit you as a human being? Since you said no.
As I said, I just feel like I would adjust better to, a new terraform planet colony than a colony in space.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would say
Because
if I'm not mis-
sorry, I assume that your movement and choices to travel are severely limited.
Between the Lagrange points? No.
Yeah.
You
I
can
mean,
still get back to Earth. You
how?
know what a Lagrange point is, right? You can look on chat. Ren posted it there
Let me see.
because that's what a Lagrange point is.
Oh, so we can go back to Earth.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so my next question is on the reverse end. Can we visit these points without living there?
Yeah.
You can.
And
Yes.
then I would definitely just stay in Earth then.
He doesn't want to travel.
Ren, you know what we call those people? People that
Pussy.
are weighed down by gravity.
Your heart is weighed down by gravity, Arachno.
Yeah, that's fine. I look for things that are established, not the what ifs.
Don't want to be a
But-
trailblazer, a pioneer, an
Okay,
explorer.
but
Okay, Gemini and Swaby, you can answer the question too. Which one of you want to go first?
I guess I'll go. Well, I personally agree with Los on this one. I've seen too many like movies and TV shows where it's like they end up in space because something's wrong with Earth, or maybe it's just a better lifestyle they're presenting, and it obviously would coincide with what happens afterwards. I guess at first it's like it's a cool dream to have, and I want to make it to space. But when you get there, is like you're dependent still on Earth regardless, because you still need oxygen and everything else. And it's just like, how can they really captivate lifestyle in space compared to Earth?
Rin, can you post the cylinder space colonies where it produces habitat and gravity?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
and
Oh, if
then
you're talking about something like that, then I mean, I guess it would work out, but at the same time, I've seen something like probably I would say the 100, I think it was called, that TV show.
Oh yeah, I hate that show, man. What an awful 6 seasons.
Yeah, I never got to finish it myself either. I ain't gonna lie, but I did see a couple seasons of it, and the basics of it was the first season to me, which
Hold on before you
was
say anything. Spoiler for anyone that is watching this podcast. Swavey is about to spoil something. All right, go ahead, Swavey.
okay.
It's not really a spoiler. It's episode 1.
Okay, I mean, all right. So let me rephrase this. Uh, Imagine being on a spaceship and everything's controlled. You would think you would have a lot more freedom, but you don't. Everything is rational. I mean, rationed, and you know what I'm saying? Like everything is set to a certain standard so you can survive for a long period of time, for as long as you can
Exactly.
there. But in reality, it's not enough. You're limited. I don't want to be limited, personally. If I want to go get me a cheeseburger tomorrow, I want to go get me a cheeseburger tomorrow.
And
Don't.
you're not wrong, but I think there's a difference between the ones we're talking about because that space station was more of a like a arc for humanity, and these are more for less for trying to make sure some humans survive, and more so like human expansion.
I mean, what's
Yeah,
really the difference, though, if you think about it, though? You're in space. We started off on Earth. We would be totally out of our territory at that point.
Yeah, isn't that exciting?
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if I were to compare this to the past, I mean, look what a lot of explorers in our past did when they sailed from Europe and off into a new world where they wouldn't know where they're going. I mean, shit. Us humans thought that the fucking Earth was flat until they dared to sail the seas all the way around to see if to confirm it or not. I mean,
Yeah, that actually goes back all the way to the Greeks.
yeah, and I don't think like I understand the fear that both you and Arachno and Los are having, but I think it's more, I think it's adventurous. I would say, to go
Well, I
out
think
into
people
outer
should
space.
do it. Yeah, no, I listen. I absolutely have no. People already do stuff that I absolutely wouldn't do on this planet. So I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that is probably the main motivation that I wouldn't do it. Is just for exploitive, like avoiding exploitative purposes.
Oh no,
But
no, no!
I
Like
don't,
I
you know
agree.
what I
Like
mean?
I do agree with what you're saying. Like there are those fears, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I
one
think
nuke,
people
just
should.
a nuke can set off,
Yeah,
and yeah,
it can destroy everything, and but I mean at the same time at that point, since we're talking about these points, if we nuke the planet, we won't really be tied to the planet's gravitational pull anymore. And then that becomes a whole nother doomsday apocalypse for everybody
yeah.
anyway. So
Okay,
that's
so I
Blow
like
up
what
the
Ren
Earth.
is posting here. It's actually a great example. There's a huge difference between the cylinder space colonies that we're talking about versus the space station from the 100. There's a significant difference. If one
Yeah,
was
but I
whole,
think
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, but I think they're like talking like what kind of lifestyle will exist on the colony.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but then
I see.
again,
So this colony is almost like a planet itself.
Yeah,
It's got
it's
to be
like
a
a
massive.
mini Halo ring.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see. I see. See, I
Yeah,
was
and
thinking of like the second thing,
you mean the
the one
third
from the
name?
100.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah,
just
the
thinking
third
of
one.
a metal jungle where it's just a bunch of machinery,
No,
not really anything.
this is what I meant by a space colonies. The who made this? Oh, what was it? O'Neill, I believe. The O'Neill cylinder space colony. He's the one that
I need to see
theorized the
this.
idea of having a
Where
cylinder where it would
you can
rotate
maintain the
on its
artificial
own.
gravity.
Yeah, where it create its own gravity. So, if you're in this space cylinder, you're not if you jump, you're not gonna forever jump. You already have stable gravity. I mean,
Huh.
we already have scientists that created artificial gravity where it can, keep you on ground. That's what we're using for Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
You,
it's
you have
been-
that in rockets.
yeah.
You have that in rockets.
However,
Yeah.
I will say this, like from the implication of the question, I'm assuming that these colonies that are being shot are like the first of its kind.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah, so I don't like those odds.
Well, I mean, if they already engineered it in a way where they guarantee your safety, right? I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, I think every space colony should have like lifeboats just in case it suddenly blew up, I guess.
I mean, as said, maybe I would feel more comfortable if it's like the third or fourth round of colonies being shot out there.
Well, if
But
you
from-
remember, if you see how the question was worded, there's already hundreds of them in space.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
There's
the
something.
colonies. Yeah, they are. Okay.
Okay, if that's the case, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm way more willing to frontier a newly discovered planet than a space colony floating
But
in the
wouldn't
void.
that be a little bit more? This is kind of changing the question, but wouldn't that be a little bit more, risky than all being next to Earth? Because now you're going further away from Earth, and just as we were talking about resources, the further away from Earth, it's going to be harder to get those resources again, unless you fly back and go back, back and forth. That's going to be awfully resource heavy.
I mean, I'm going by the implication that whatever planet we plan to choose has its own resources that are, how would I say this?
Arachno,
Parallel.
do you want to Star Trek it? Do you want to Star Trek it? Do you want to be the
Alright, it's about
final
time for me
frontier?
to get out early.
All
Ciao.
right, take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Adios.
But yeah, but even then, like when frontiering a planet, I'm still gonna wait for the colony to establish. I'm never going to be like the very first group going to the planet or
What
the
if
very
they
first
offer
group.
you a pension and a 401k?
I keep thinking of the Roach planet. What is it? The roaches on Mars?
And
I don't know what
guaranteed health insurance.
They don't
I
even have
mean,
that here.
health insurance is not gonna matter if there's like a crack in the fucking cylinder in the void.
Oh, okay. What would it take to get
But
you to
I
go on a
would,
space colony?
I would
The first
imagine.
space colony.
I would imagine, though, if it was a space colony, they would have safety procedures if anything like that happened. Like even planes have safety procedures.
Of course, but that
Uh,
doesn't mean that there's no accidents.
We're not saying that
How many-
accidents will never happen. I mean, again, like your fears are valid, right?
Arachno ain't gonna die out there.
Your fears are
You
valid.
just
I'm
want her
not.
body to be found.
Also, I'm going to say what I was thinking. Like the, how do I say, the intrusive thought I was saying is that if I was going into like this pod to be shot out into that colony, and in the pod, let's just say we have like the.
wait, who's saying that you're gonna be in a pod to be shot out to the colony?
It doesn't matter. Anyway, continue.
I'm just saying that if let's take for instance, let's just think that whoever's like the president is currently the meme version of Trump, and I go into this pod and I see nothing but like fellow Latinos in there. I'm gonna get scared and jump out of the fucking pod.
We're gonna have the best space
This
system
is
ever.
loaded. This is loaded. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh no.
And the
Oh, boy.
Latinos are gonna build it.
But see,
boy.
but see
I
that but that's
agree
what
with
I mean
Lois.
though. Like, yeah, like that, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, I don't want to give any examples of what it could be. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I'd be a little worried if I just hopped on a pod and I'm
mean-
looking around and I'm like, it doesn't look
Wait.
like any of these people would make it on this planet.
Wait, I mean, like, Ios. I'm assuming, like,
That's
are
all
you
I'm saying.
are you black?
I am.
Okay, so like, think about it. If you went into a pod and they're sending you to a colony and you see like nothing but black people, not even another
I'm not
race,
gonna lie.
wouldn't you be
I would
like,
be a little. I would. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm just saying, like, if the rights aren't looking good on Earth, and I hop in the pod, and it looks like all these people have the rights aren't looking good for them on the planet, I'm a little worried about us making it to the planet. That's all I'm
It's
saying.
like I'm out.
I'm not, yeah, it's
You
like,
guys-
it's like, okay, like, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Are we sure we want to do this? Or is this all of us on here? Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
That's where your survival instincts start to kick in, and you're just like, all right, stop drinking the Hennessy. Let's do this.
Like, well, is it too late to jump off? I mean, if there's teleportation, then like, of course, I'm gonna. But then I don't even trust that. I don't know, man.
Okay,
Dude,
so
that's horrible.
alright,
Did you
now
really
I'm
say
curious.
concentration camps?
All right, now I'm curious. How do you guys
Wait,
feel
who-
about going on like a 500-year journey to another star and being cryogenically frozen until you arrive?
I mean, that sounds like taking
No,
one fat nap, dog. And I'm
no.
gonna tell you, there's a good chance I'm not making it out. I don't even like sleeping longer than like 10 hours at a
I have
time.
an irrational fear being cryogenically and let me tell you why. What was it? Do you guys watch Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes.
There was like fucking one episode
Oh,
where
I know
this
which one you're
guy
talking about.
got
Was
Yeah,
it? I
cryogenically
know what you're
frozen and he woke up like
yeah,
in this. Yeah, no,
we're all thinking about the
absolutely
same
not.
thing. Yeah, we're all thinking about the
Absolutely not.
same thing.
Yeah, no,
That's why
that is a terrifying fear.
that's why it's like warping to different universes and having yourself liquidized or cryogenically frozen while waiting to, you know, warp to wherever you're supposed to warp to, and then, you know, fucking overshooting it or whatever due to an error. That's scary as hell. And then realizing that you're in a simulation, and
That's
then in real life 175 years passed, you're just like, yeah, no, yeah, but in reality, I don't know, maybe sure cryogenically freezing sounds like a good idea if
That would be so
somehow
terrifying.
I
They
would
put you to
say
sleep and there's a chance there's a chance you don't wake up. That's scary.
See, I
no,
feel
see,
like at
for,
that point, we just clone people and send the clones, and then,
Whoa! What about clone?
Whoa.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no, no,
saying,
no,
wait
no,
a
no.
minute, wait, hold on.
Listen,
I didn't
Io,
wait.
I
Hold
love
on,
myself to not send another me out there. Okay.
Okay, what? All right, but let's just say that the clones have to grow up anyway, so they're just, test tube babies. We freeze the test tubes, we ship them out there, and then robots can raise. I'm just saying, there's an ethical, maybe not so ethical solution to
okay.
this.
Wait,
I'm just saying.
hold on. I got something I want to say. It's a little racist, but it's not different from what we were talking about earlier. What if all the clones were black?
All right, well, here we go. So now, but that's exactly what I'm saying, though. That's the problem. I mean, how would we even know? Oh, can't even get rights as a clone. It just gets worse.
See what
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
see what I was trying to say about being cryogenically frozen is like, if it was anything like warping or anything kind of like that, I would not be for it. But if it was something like, let's say, preserving my body and then putting my consciousness in a clone or something like that for a like makeshift kind of immortality, sure, I'm down for that. Put my consciousness in a different body, or, you know, like brain in a jar or whatever.
Oh,
You
he
know,
wants the island.
I would love to, you know, be in a different clone of myself. Like, dude, I would love to be fucking 18 again.
That's that is interesting though, right? Because we kind of have those kind of weird ethical issues popping up now, like training AI models on people who've existed and then asking the AI models questions and having those AI models respond, predicting how the people would respond with like 90% accuracy. And it's like, technically speaking, it's not their consciousness, but it's pretty damn close. And it's actually kind of scary because let's say you take someone like Einstein and you put him in the model like that. You're not just talking to an Einstein. I mean, like, sure, it might not be able to creatively come up with brand new solutions all the time, but you're talking to something that's predicting what Einstein would say with a high accuracy and also it can tap into all of the knowledge all the time at once.
Oh,
So
you
it's
mean
like
like
it's no,
you mean
go
like
ahead.
what you mean like what chat we can do with ChatGPT with
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
Mario? With
yeah, it's
Mario?
the same exact thing. Yeah, except for just like you take that and you just start honing it in, and then you sell that to people individually. And then it becomes an ethical issue. Like, am I ethically allowed to own an AI model
Yep.
that is completely modeled off of Einstein? Like, is that ethical? I don't like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wait,
where do we start drawing the boundaries on
You-
what you own?
You know what's crazy is that's already been there. Like we've already had this, like in the '90s. Like these,
That's
like
true. Yeah.
like all that stuff could have been done. Because I used to write like talking apps and all that stuff through IRC, like the scripting line, and you could make it do
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
okay, okay, he said yes to this question, and then it goes through a whole,
The chain of if else.
yeah,
Yeah.
if else,
Mhm.
then all that stuff. And you
Mhm.
just go through a whole file, and it's just like stream. We'll see. The only difference is back then we didn't have Google search, we didn't have
True.
YouTube, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So we can actually use like search the whole entire within seconds, like milliseconds. We didn't have that. We had to base it off of what the person programmed.
And
Now
the
that
way
these
we
places let you do the searches, you can implement that into the code and grab anything you want instantly.
That's true. It's a technology built on top of another technology.
Yep.
And even the way that we handle the if else statements are different. Like 100 years ago, linear algebra was theoretical.
Oh yeah.
And now it's
Yeah.
like now we're like linear, that's baby stuff, man. We're talking about quantum computing over here. Like zeros and ones aren't enough.
Oh
We need
yeah.
other dimensions.
We had to
Or,
use hash memory all the time. That's like
yeah.
unknown, like unheard of now. And that was
It's
fast.
and that was fast, but now it's just not fast enough.
No.
And that's the thing. Like it's like the way that we process stuff, it just gets more and more complicated over time. Like our approach, but it's funny though, because you're right. Technically, it's the same thing, but in reality, it's doing a lot more
A
work to
lot,
do the
yeah.
same
We
thing.
actually exactly. We have a lot better
I was-
processing.
I was gonna say that we've had PCs around since like the 70s.
Oh yeah, supercomputers is what they
Yeah,
call them.
yeah, and then they just slowly upgraded them more to be what they are now, which are like, I mean, like we have laptops now. We have monitors that can literally just hook it up to a desktop and you're good.
Yep.
Just make sure you have a keyboard and you're like it's incredible what has happened in what 40 years.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, more cell phones than people every year, probably, or close, every 2 years being created. Like that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, if I could throw something else in there, back in those 70s and 80s, like they look back at those computers, the motherboards and everything for it, they're gigantic, like 5 foot tall motherboards. Now, if you actually look at it, it's basically just like hardly any components on a huge ass board. And the reason why they had to do that is they were contracted for a certain amount. So these companies would be like, they give them 6 foot of those, where the government paid for, a certain amount. So like they could have made it smaller back then. It just didn't have the time to do it, and they were contracted. It's a way of them making money, getting stuff out. Like if they go back onto it, some of those YouTube videos, and they just shrink all that stuff down. Like, oh, this board's huge. Just cut this in half. Take that off. Like without
Yeah.
even actually changing any transitions or anything like that, because you can do all that and turn it into one microcontroller now. But that's technology. But they were trying to see if they could shrink down what they actually had back then. And they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you can shrink this to nothing, like to a small little computer like what we have now." It's just because the fact the government paid for a certain amount of money, and they're like, "We need to get rid of this. We need more jobs. We need to manufacture that."
Well, capitalism.
Yep.
Looking at you, QWERTY keyboard. Oh god.
Also,
Alright.
I just want to say because I just noticed this now. Happy birthday, Los.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I
Oh
didn't wanna
yeah, so it
say
is. Oh
anything.
yeah, happy birthday again.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday,
Yeah,
Los.
thanks, man.
Shout out to
Yeah, I
Los.
appreciate it.
happy birthday.
Mr.
Stop
Happy
using
President.
that one. Stop.
birthday.
Oh my god! All right,
Sorry.
let's go to the next question. Can cybernetic enhancements benefit mankind in any way, or would this reduce normal human population? And if so, would this decrease sex drive in humans?
Well,
I feel a little bit of both.
I would say it doesn't necessarily decrease the human population growth because like before you get cybernetic enhancements, like say downstairs, you could always have your sperm or eggs frozen. So there's always that. But and then eventually, I mean, we were talking about literally growing people from test tubes. But I think there is definitely like it's going to be just like the genetic stuff where it's just like some people are going to be better than others, and Joe Schmo is going to be pretty upset that Jerry with his cybernetic arms took his doc job.
Not Jerry.
That is
Yeah,
true.
but
I
then
mean,
you'll also have like those cyberpunk situations where you'll have black market dealers being like, "Oh, you want the good stuff, right? Okay, well here it is," and then you're like having like a cyber what that one mission where the guy has
He has
like
the enhanced
a
penis, and it starts
yeah, he has
malfunctioning.
the enhanced penis and it starts malfunctioning. Yeah. It's always on fire. He's like, "What? Why is it doing this?" And it's like, well, I don't know. You tell me. I feel like that like things like that would be bound to happen. Um, but I also feel like a lot of people would have to be turned cybernetically enhanced for it to
So
affect
mandatory
population.
cybernetics.
No, see,
I
if it
mean,
was
we don't even take
mandatory,
vaccines, so I don't think. All right, no, that's a whole nother. My fault. I didn't mean to say that. All right. Yeah, that's a
I'm
whole
saying
podcast.
I'm saying if it was mandatory, like, and if a lot, like more than probably half the civilization of Earth were cybernetically enhanced, then it would affect the population in a way.
Arachno, Los, you want to add something?
I know this is like weird, but it's like since we're talking about reducing the sex drive, I think we're doing plenty of that on our own. I don't think we need to imagine what cybernetics would do. I feel like if anything, the first cybernetics I would hit would be bringing the sex drive back. Like a lot of people,
Oh
I mean, like
yeah.
people are having less kids, there are less families. Some countries are literally importing people to be like, hey,
Oh,
come on, guys, we gotta breathe. Like,
Los,
uh,
Viagra dick.
oh,
You just
please.
go ahead and create more, procreation incentives. Like, hey, make one child, and then the government will pay you. We'll give you 50K for each child you have.
Wait, well, but wait
Oh
a
my
minute.
God, let's
They
turn
they
against
did
China.
something similar to that in the 80s and 90s, but it was like if you give birth to children with diseases, you get supplements and stuff like that for until they're a certain age or for life. I don't think that works out the way people plan it to work out. That's all
Oh,
I gotta say.
Rin, you could also do the China route, right? And be like, well, if you have a boy, we'll give you $100,000. If you have a
Oh,
girl, we're
they're in
taking
a population
50K from
crisis.
you.
Oh no, they're already in a population crisis. They're trying to
Yeah.
reverse that. Like that was
It's
such a
so
bad idea.
yeah,
Like,
it's so interesting how China flopped in like the matter of a generation. It's like, oh, one child per family. Fuck, now we took the skills too far.
right. Maybe we did need the girls. Hold on. Like, the math was not mathing. Like I don't know. I guess they forgot that people just can't give birth forever in their life. Like I don't know what happened there, man.
Yeah, it is
Eh,
funny.
My
they had many of their mamas turn their menstrual cycle going off.
They're Mimas.
No,
the
in China you go ma.
Go ahead, Arachno. You want to say something?
the only comment that I'm gonna say that in the long term, and I mean millions and millions of years ahead of time, in order for or some semblance of our descendants to survive, and to some sense for humanity to leave somewhat of a mark in this universe, we will need to evolve beyond our current human state.
So
We
you
must become post-human.
We need to no longer become human just so our descendants of descendants, like million years along the lines, have a chance of survival. Because I'm just like looking at it from the sense of the every system, the sun is eventually going to be destroyed. And how long are we going to jump from planets to planets before we need to start prioritizing modifying the bodies to the point that they can survive space, or survive on planets that don't require oxygen and such? To get to that point, we would no longer be human out of necessity.
Yo, human with no oxygen sounds wild. I never even thought of that. It's like I don't know why this blew my mind. Like,
Well, actually,
no,
it's interesting that we're talking about that because the next question is, do you think nanotechnology would be possible to regenerate body parts and internal organs to reduce death rate for humans?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Yes.
would you think there will be side effects, and would this be beneficial for all of mankind? And yeah, all of mankind.
I
It
feel
would.
there would be side effects.
Yes, there will be side effects, but
Nanomachines,
see,
son.
here's the thing. To say beneficial to mankind, it's kind of hard to say, because is
Why is it
or
hard to say?
because is forfeiting our humanity, quote unquote, beneficial to mankind?
Well,
That's
okay.
I guess we'd have to
individual.
redefine it, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, you gotta redefine what is
Yeah,
yeah,
humanity.
because if we start
yeah,
talking
because
about
that
regenerating
would be up to
organs,
the individual then, if they
yeah,
Yeah,
want
that's what I'm
to
saying.
sacrifice their humanity.
but then
Yeah.
at what point is a person human? Like, where does the human in humanity lie? In the mind, in the spirit, in the
That's a
consciousness?
nice of a
Like
question
that's
I
what I'm
tried
saying.
asking.
Like,
My definition of a human is way more based on the species Homo sapien. I thoroughly believe is like, yeah, we would no longer be humans anymore. We would be sentient beings, but no longer human.
And how useful is that term human?
Well, I'm only using human in relevance to the question, such as, is it beneficial to humanity? Because humanity is an implication of beneficial to humans.
But then it becomes a cycle, because if you use nanomachines to help humans, and you feel that we have to become something that surpasses humans, then we wouldn't be humans anymore. And
I mean, if we're using nanobots in our bloodstreams to the point that we're dependent on nanobots, wouldn't that the argument be that we're more closer to cyborgs at that point?
Well, it wouldn't matter
not
because
really.
no, it wouldn't matter because we as as a society or a culture or a collective entity of a base origin still exists, whether or not we are cyborgs or not.
Mm.
you
I
know,
think it's more of a subjective thing.
see, and
Okay, like
well,
yeah.
well, I was gonna say no. I want you to finish because I feel like what I was gonna say was gonna like throw us off. You go ahead.
Okay, so let's just say like we jump forward like 50 years, right? And say we have like cybernetics, right?
Sure.
Um, could you make the argument that people like someone with like a full cybernetic body isn't human? Okay, sure, but then the term human just, becomes useless and worthless. Then what do we call ourselves?
China.
Automatons.
Automatons.
No, no, as a culture and a society, when we move out, move beyond, what do we call ourselves?
Androids.
All right, let me put it like this.
No.
All right. So let's just say we exist in a society where we have we're all one society, right?
Yeah.
And we have full body prosthetic people, cyborgs. We have half owl man people as well. When when we meet a new alien species, what do we introduce ourselves at? What is the word we use?
Earthlings.
There we go. All
We
right, we're
We'd
Earthlings.
Yep,
probably
Earthlings.
right.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
we'd probably use our planet as
Human,
our
Yeah.
identifier to
human becomes
foreign
worthless, and we're
species.
Earthlings. Yeah, that's what I mean.
But you know what? Since we're talking about the term Homo sapien, being used as kind of like the anchor for the definition of a human, what is a body that, let's say, a body, but the mind is mechanical in the sense of like that's the only part of it that isn't human anymore.
Oh, you mean
An
like the
android.
inverse, like where you put like
Yeah,
an
but
artificial, a digital sentient inside of a biological body?
yeah, would you, because that kind of goes into what we were saying before, where it's like, but doesn't a certain percentage of the physical body need to be
human.
robotic,
Yeah.
or is it, yeah, otherwise is anyone with any kind of even the slightest bit of biotech considered an android at that point? And then where do we start drawing the lines there?
Well,
That's the only
Well,
reason why I said that about the
see,
human like definition. Like where does the human definition of a human actually lie? Is a human and a Homo sapien two different things? Is the human the part that exists in the consciousness, and the Homo sapien is the species of the body that it drives? That's the only reason why I was asking that.
Right. I'll
well,
stick with my answer. It becomes irrelevant, and we're just Earthlings.
I agree.
uh, I feel at the point where we all this interchanging things. You know, we have people who are cyborgs. We have people who are uh androids. We have people who are literal fucking robots, but they want to be identified as humans. And then we have subspecies owl, human like people, like, and we're all still on Earth, but somehow we're all doing this for science because we want to survive the sun and we want to be able to breathe oxygen in the void of space. But what would we identify ourselves as? I feel that we would somehow rename the planet because our minds would be too far gone.
Why would we need to rename the planet?
Humans like to
Because we
rename
have
things.
all of this different shit on it
So
now.
the planet's not called Earth because because of humans that live on it. I
I
don't
mean,
see a
to be
reason to change the
fair,
name of Earth.
Yeah, yes, it is.
to be fair,
Someone names the planet.
They didn't name it
That is,
after
that is
humans.
kind of wild though.
I
Someone did
mean,
name the planet.
No, but it
realistically,
was named by a human,
So okay,
and
so
if our humanity is no longer what makes us human, and we have all of these different fucking things around it, and there are people that,
that
let's say,
that
are
argument
part
that
of the
argument doesn't really have
government.
any logic because that by that def by that logic
How
by
does it
that
not have
logic, do
logic?
we stop calling chairs chairs?
Well,
okay.
all right, hold on, hold
Wait,
on.
Chairs
wait,
were
wait,
Before
wait,
made
wait.
we
into
go down
humans, and
that,
we're not
No,
humans
no, you
anymore.
don't. No,
Wait,
you
wait,
don't
wait,
It's the
wait,
same
wait,
understand.
hold on.
argument.
let Iraq know. Wait, let Iraq know. Hold on.
I mean, technically, Gemini's not completely wrong because, as humans evolve, so does language. And let's just say that the English language dies. Yes, planet Earth would be called something else, and we would call ourselves something based off of what the new name for the planet is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna
Okay,
say.
that's
Depending on, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Depending on
yeah,
the
but
trending
it's like to say
linguistics,
that
the
has to
names of
change.
things.
I'm
It's
not
not
saying
saying
it
it has
has.
to
I'm not
change.
saying it has. I'm not saying it has to change. I'm just saying our minds would be so far gone into this new evolutionary thing that we're going towards
Yeah, and that's
that
the part that
we
I
would
disagree
be
with.
more.
Because of our evolution, we have to change the name of the planet. That's
No, I'm saying that we
doesn't make any
would
sense.
be. I'm saying we would be feel more inclined to change the name of the planet.
But and that's where I don't see the logic because that's like saying because of our like apply that to anything else that humans have created or named, then it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, like do we stop calling them chairs?
Yes, we have different variations of chairs. We have stools.
Yeah, but it defeats the purpose of the utility of language so that when we say chair, we know what we mean by chair. When we say earth, we know what we mean by earth. What's the point of changing it?
Okay,
That
tell
defeats
me
the whole
what was
utility and purpose.
tell me what was Earth named before it was named Earth?
I don't know. You tell me, because I think you know the answer already.
No, it was just a rock in space because there was no human there to fucking call it Earth.
You know,
At one point,
just for
they
the
probably
sake
thought it
of
was a
argument,
moon.
let's just all agree that over time, language and forms of communication is going to change over time. And for all we know, like the future robots or bioengineered descendants are going to call the planet Clock Conte.
No,
Boom.
Planet 264.
Yeah, or
Dash
Planet
3.
264 if English survives.
Yeah.
There was
Like
no
the
name.
alphabet is
Okay.
just retro.
All right, I looked it up.
Let's
There was
just-
no name prior.
Wait, hold on. Los, I want to hear your full retort or explanation to anything they said here.
Well, I was just gonna say. I mean, at some point, right, when you start to really look at it, it just starts to become almost like pedantic. Like it doesn't really matter, right? Like let's say 100 years from now, you just have these biotech people. I'm not gonna lie to you; they're probably not gonna call it anything. They're probably just gonna say that location that exists in three-dimensional space that sometimes we go to. I mean, if you're that advanced, why do you really need names? Names are there for human conventions, but I drive in cars with people all the time and they don't know the name of anything. They just know turn here, turn there. Oh, look, you're at a place that you want to be at. And I think eventually, as tech grows, everything kind of boils down to that. Like, well, we're going to go to this location, but that location doesn't necessarily have to have a name. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, humans like names, but let's just be real. If you say, I want to go to that space coordinate in space, and something says, all right, I'm going to take you there, you begin to just not care where it really is. Like, meet me at these coordinates, boom. And then you're like, all right, I'm there, boom. Like, I think it starts to boil down to the language necessity. It's only there for our convenience,
True.
right?
Yeah,
But-
but if we
yeah.
already have the word for convenience, why change?
It's all
I gotta
macros.
tell you,
I
people
To say because of our
people-
evolution doesn't make any sense.
Because yes, it does.
It does. You haven't made it make sense.
How okay, how did Neanderthals talk to each other?
I don't know.
They had to have a way to talk to each other, right?
Okay.
Whether it
Yes.
be-
Yes. They had
whether
a way
it
of
be-
communicating. Yes.
Yes. So
But they're gone. Who cares?
that's not my point. My point is that there was a species before us that had a way to communicate with each other, whether it be speaking or sign language. Either way, it's a dead language. How do other countries around the world communicate to each other? Language.
Yes.
So whether it's language or sign, they have a way to communicate to each other, and the reason why they have a way to communicate to each other is because it evolved over time
Okay.
of
But
that.
that still doesn't make any sense, because when we're talking about, different, all right, so the object itself doesn't change. A different culture with a different language can come up with a different name for it, and the only thing that changes is whether or not what you call it. Whether we call it water or agua is irrelevant, because just that. There's no, like, if all right, and the only reason to
so
change it, yeah. Go ahead.
So you're telling me if we don't become human anymore, we wouldn't have a need to change any of the language or anything like that. We would just see it as
Well, do
as
we
not.
still speak English?
Yes, but that's not my
So what's
point.
the
I'm
if we
saying
all
in
speak
12
English, then why
Okay.
change words that are already in English?
You know, all
because
right,
it would
that's
be more in the
no,
nature
that's
to.
Yeah, you lost me there,
Yeah.
dude.
yeah. Here's the thing, right? All right, I see what's happening
Oh
here.
my god.
Okay, Rin. Then I know this sounds really, really crazy, all right? But you got to
Okay.
remember, we are talking about humans.
All right.
Humans
yeah,
have a tendency to just do things, right?
uh-huh.
And why we do them, we don't know. But it would make a lot of logical sense. I'm not going to lie to you. Look at Twitter speech versus speech 40 years ago. People used to have full-blown thorough conversations, and today they'll just reply with one letter, and the other person knows the same intent of the full-blown conversation, but the one letter holds all the same value. Humans just, as we evolve, we simplify things down into these stupid little ways where the intent is delivered without actually needing the full scope of what we're talking
Yes,
about.
and I can understand that, but in the case of, say, Twitter, where you're limited to how many characters you can use in a tweet,
I
can
right, but
understand
even
creating
before Twitter
shorthand.
though, right? Like here's the thing, right? And this is what I'm saying. We have to talk about like, okay, let's pull back from Twitter and let's go back to texting on flip phones.
I feel
Texting on
like
People
flip
used
phones.
to
Because
right?
how
People used to,
inconvenient it was to type
yes,
in numbers on, like, letters
exactly.
on the number pad. Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. So there's always a motivation.
Yes,
The
there is.
motivation as time goes on might simply just be there are more important things for us to even conceive and talk about than saying the word Earth. And people
Yes.
will slowly start to
Where
break
I'm
it
getting
down
hung up
and break
on
it down.
is how is it that, like, you have to really explain to me why, because of human evolution, we need to change the word Earth.
I'm telling
I
you,
don't see the link
just like
there.
anything else,
Just
like anything
because
else,
they're
though, it just happens. Like I'm not
yes,
saying that it should. I'm telling you, Ian, it is because that's what we do. We take shit that exists and we try to, for some reason, make it more comfortable to our current predicament, not caring about all the other scopes that it could be in. I'm telling you, bro, there's gonna walk a day on this planet where people are just gonna say E. That's it. All the
yeah,
planets are just gonna be the first letter.
I'm just
It is. I'm
I
gonna
just
meet you
need
at the
to
E, and you're gonna know.
I just need to interject. This is a very nuanced conversation because I feel like you guys are agreeing about the very same thing, but you guys are not understanding each other. It's like Gemini, from what I understand, is arguing that, oh, Earth is going to be called something else, and Rin acknowledges that, but he says, like, even though it's going to be referred to something else over time with the change of language and communication, it's still going to refer
There's-
to the object at a certain point. Like
Yeah. But, like,
the
and
object
my point
itself
is, like, I
is
understand
referred
that
as
things change,
something.
and things usually change for a reason or some gained utility. I don't see the link from evolution. From some political reason, I see it far more likely from a
Yes.
political reason than an evolutionary
no,
one.
I see it more from an evolutionary thing because through evolution and even as you're saying, through political or governmental reasons, things do change. Even if it's through slang terms or just to shorten things out. It's what people do. It's what species do.
Okay, let's just agree on the bare minimum that as time
Yes,
passes,
rename
and
Earth to Holy Terra. Yes.
okay,
I mean,
there we
Well,
go. Let's move on to the next
marketing.
question,
Terra,
please, for the
name.
love of God.
No. Holy Terra.
Okay.
No, but
Or
Earth
emojis. That is
actually-
true. That is true. One of the viewers said you can think about it like, with emojis and stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could see people Earth emoji, not even the word. Some people forget
Dave.
what it was. What do we even call that? Just Earth emoji. Just an
Dave.
emoji. Just like
Next
like
question, please,
I
for the love of God.
mean, where are we going? Just that emoji? What the hell is that? I don't even know. Just put it in the GPS. It'll take us there. I don't know, man. Humans are goofy.
I mean, we're redefining words. Like you're right. I mean, like nowadays we're redefining words. Even now, like there's a lot of
Yes,
words
and it's
nowadays. that
bad because it's not like a universally agreed on thing to redefine the word. And you get
Yes,
the
and I
issues where
agree with
someone
you.
says something and someone doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. I'm just saying, like I'm saying, generally speaking, nowadays people just take a word and redefine it. Red could mean blue, black can mean I don't know asteroid at this point.
Wait, hold on. I think I could extend an olive branch that can get us to agree. Now, Gemini, when you say evolutionary wise, you don't just mean biologically, correct?
Yes, no, I don't just mean
Okay,
biologically.
all right, we're good.
Okay, there you go.
We're good.
Okay, so we'll move
Because
on
I'm
to our
thinking,
next.
as like an extreme exaggerated example. Oh, humans in like 500 years in the future grow like I don't know. They start growing penises out the back of their heads. Well, time to rename the planet Earth
Stop.
now.
That's actually terrifying. I don't want to do that. That's terrifying.
Like why?
All right, we're going to the next question.
No.
Ignoring that, would an orbital space elevator be useful for a new resource of energy to give power and energy to buildings and structures back on Earth? What would be the negative of this? And would this cause an environmental hazard?
It's called the asteroid belt.
Okay, so having a elevator from Earth to space, I feel it would be good if we had something up there to go to.
Well,
Otherwise,
yeah,
it
you
would
gotta
just
build a
be
landing point for the elevator.
yeah. But it's like, we would have to have something up there to go to. Otherwise, we're just, oh, look at the view. Oh, it's so pretty.
Well, yeah, because
It would just be an attraction.
like the whole point and the advantage of having a space elevator is that you can quickly, send supplies, up into space from Earth without having to, launch shuttles anytime you want to do that. That's the whole point of having a space elevator.
Yes. Um, Disadvantages of having a space elevator, depending on resources building it, I don't know, maybe pollution.
Like even that's not a downside. Resources, like because it pays back. It pays itself back in the long run. That's the whole point.
But yeah, that's my answer to it.
I don't think I can't conceive of a downside to having space elevators. I'm sorry.
You don't see any environmental hazard?
Environmental hazards?
Yeah.
None that are offset by the benefit of it. No.
Arachno, Los.
I don't even. I mean, the concept of a space elevator kind of just kind of escapes me. Like, are we talking about a super advanced spaceship here? Are we like? I don't
No,
even.
no, no. It's not a. It's not like a transport. I mean, it's well, yeah, it is
Yeah.
technically, but like,
All right.
y-
Imagine, if you will, it's a giant tower that goes to low Earth orbit.
So it just goes up to like the top of the atmosphere.
Yes.
I
What? So we're doing that as what, like a docking station of some
Yeah,
sort?
like so so we have a space station in low Earth orbit, and it's connected to the surface of Earth via or Holy Terra via like a long tower that's an elevator. And there's a like you can shift things up like the tower, like an elevator, an orbital elevator. Yeah, that's what an orbital elevator.
Yeah, just think of a Total Recall. Remember
Okay.
when his
oh,
eyes? Remember his eyes started bugging out.
Didi says depending
So
on the sources and materials used to make the space elevator.
will say
so
that
You need some really heavy equipment for that.
I
to
feel like at
me,
that point you're just making skyscrapers and just making stuff go up and down the skyscrapers.
I mean
Right,
you
but
are.
like, yes, yeah, you
It
are,
is
but like, yeah. Go
in
ahead.
a technical way, yeah.
So it's like
Technical
think of it like
sense.
this. So the purpose is like, so for example, you want to build things in space, right? So let's just say
Yeah.
that there's things too big to be built. Like say we're spaceships, right? So if we build a spaceship here on Earth, we would have to launch it into space. But if we can build it in space, we don't have to waste the resources getting it into space because it's already there.
Right. I feel like
And it,
I feel like I see the trade-off. But there's a lot of natural disasters on this planet. And somehow I feel like that we'd end up in a roundabout way using the same amount of resources just in, I mean, if it's easier to maintain something that giant in the sky rather than having to build something and launch it up, then yeah. But like I said, at some point I feel like you're building a glorified skyscraper, and
yes,
skyscrapers, that type of architecture, it just begins to, when it gets too tall, like when it gets too tall, you start being restricted by location, foundation. Even when we talk about materials, when you talk about repair, there's a bunch of things like something breaks 3/4 up, and now you're looking at a crazy insurance policy just to make sure. I mean, someone falls from that height. First of all, people alive at that height is going to cost a
oh
lot of
yeah,
money.
you're right. Worker insurance, the
yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
A
even want to go
nightmare.
down that. I don't want to be the one to like, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying like now we're starting to send robots up to fix things because we don't want to send people. People get mad because they don't have jobs. And then it's like, why do we use people to build it? It becomes a whole crazy thing. I'm just saying, I feel like we're talking about really tall skyscrapers
Damn
here.
butterfly effect.
Yeah, but I don't really know. Listen, man, it sounds really good in theory. It sounds kind of cool. um, it's just thinking about it, like, oh man, how are we gonna maintain that? That just sounds like a lot. I don't know. That's just me though.
I will agree in the aspects that I think trying to make a space elevator is very impractical.
You guys just don't dream big.
No, we are
How
dreaming
about
big.
you, Ren and
I just-
Gemini? Do you guys think it would be impractical, or do you think it would be practical?
I don't think that it's, since we're talking about the possible future, and like possibly hundreds of years in the future, but I'm thinking that it probably it won't be impractical because if we're thinking of hundreds of years in the future, that we may have devices that can stop uh natural disasters. Uh, not not to say that that would be good for the planet, but we may be able to have devices that would be able to lower the tremors of an earthquake, or we might have uh, something to move the direction of hurricanes or tornadoes or things like that. Same thing with the tsunami. Like we might be able to have a device that would be able to prevent tsunamis by feeling the tremors down in the ocean. But um, in that kind of world, I feel that it would be more practical, and also depending on what kind of resources you use, the environmental outbreak. I feel the only thing that would you would have to worry about would maybe be pollution. Uh, Depending on how tall this thing is going to go, and if we have any kind of shuttle or whatever that we're putting things up to.
Oh, okay. Anything you want to add there, Ren?
Nope.
Well, we do have the last two questions, and I'm gonna ask the special question first. Um, if scientists developed water you can breathe in, would fictional sports like blitzball from Final Fantasy X be popular as a modern day sport?
Yes.
Do you think this would be a scientific breakthrough for mankind to have breathable water? Do you
God, that
think
sounds
this
so
benefits humans in
crazy.
any way, medically?
Okay, so breathable water. Would
Wait,
we
did you say
assume that we can
medically?
survive in? Oh yeah, I think you said genetically, right?
No, I
Me-
said medically.
me-
At the end.
Oh,
medically?
medically. Okay. I'm gonna assume here that are we able to withstand pressure depths, at a higher rate in this scenario?
It's not a hypothetical question per se, but um, I don't think we can survive the pressure. It's just mentioning you can breathe in
Just
breathable
we
water.
can breathe in water. Okay.
Yeah.
So water sports. Okay. I mean, I want to be honest with you. Mike Tyson fighting a shark, I fucking would kill to see that. So
Oh yeah,
I just feel like
man.
it's just all yeses across the
I'm
board.
kind of down for that too.
I mean, like,
Uh,
I don't want to see people punch Shamu the whale, but like,
like
god
sharks.
damn, that would.
Sharks have
I'll just say my bad.
sharks have ears, right?
No, they don't.
no, they don't.
Okay, then damn, it's gonna be an easy fight.
They're completely blind.
Wait, sharks are blind?
Yes.
Oh, they use what do you call it, right? Sonar.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's dolphins. I don't think
Is
all
that
sharks are
dolphins?
blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're talking about dolphins, bro.
Is that
No,
dolphin?
Dolphins
sharks
aren't blind
actually.
either. They can see. They're mammals.
No, sharks
Sharks are
are
not
like
blind, and their vision is better, far better than we can imagine. Sharks have trouble distinguishing colors. Vision
okay.
still good enough to
They're
accomplish
colorblind.
death-defying feats when
Well,
hunting their prey. Yeah, they got big
they're
ass
not that.
eyeballs.
Okay, well, their vision is not that great, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
Because like,
they're saying their vision's really good. It's just they can't distinguish different colors. It sucks at
well,
colors, but
yeah,
it's still
they
really good depth. They say.
I don't even know why we're even talking
Oh
about sharks for that. What's the
My
question?
fault. See,
Yeah,
that, I
okay,
didn't.
okay,
I
never
didn't
mind.
well,
mean.
because
We're
My
going
bad.
off
I
the
didn't
damn
mean for it to
topic.
go into
wanted to
this. I
see
just.
like Lois wanted to see Mike Tyson fight a shark. So
Yeah, that's basically the Mike Tyson
My
fight.
bad. I just feel like he could still punch really hard in the. I don't know why. If anyone can knock out a shark, I believe it's him. All right, but let's. All right, my bad. Anyway, Water Olympics would go crazy, and I think that we could have floating cities that kind of just like we don't really care about. I mean, they can't really sink too far, but
Oh, so they
I
have
don't know, man.
They have eternal ears that are just like humans. See, if he beats his ass enough, he can get in there and eat that ear.
Stop. No, stop.
All right,
That's
I'm
okay.
done. I'm done.
That's
so
okay.
I'm kind of with Los on this one. I feel like if we not so much the sports or anything, but like I I feel like if we somehow find a device or something to help with the pressure, like withstanding the pressure, or suits that could withstand long uh depths of pressure, we could build cities down there that would help with overpopulating, and it's free real
Oh, it's
estate.
like, but see, the thing is, right, and this is always the God. He must just be the minority in me. I'm just always so terrified of putting people in places where I can't see them, like the bottom of the ocean, where they can breathe and survive, and then having them mine things, and we don't really know. I don't know, man. It's like there's always drawbacks to these things. But God
Yeah,
damn, what I want to see a Usain Bolt run in the ocean. I gotta tell you, I just
but
conflicted.
adding on to what you're saying there about the bottom of the ocean that we
Yeah,
still have not fully 100% explored. Yeah, I
I
would be terrified.
yeah. So Okami, so I I I vote for the first city to be built in the Pacific Ocean, and I want the
why
divers to
there?
have
That's
these
a horrible place. That's
because
the Mariana
exactly,
Trench.
exactly. So
I get
here's my theory,
So
right?
you
I
want to
want
die is what you're
no,
saying.
no, 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 no. I'm not going to be one of the people going down there. I'm
Yeah, he's not stupid.
yeah, no. So what I want is I
Yeah.
want researchers to go down there. I want them to try building a city and whatever. And the people that live down there will secretly be test subjects, and I want them to
no.
see how
Okay,
far they can build down.
he is exactly the
And
one that I was worried about. This is what I was
they
talking about.
no. See, they will be test subjects to see if Cthulhu wakes up.
Think they're
Yes.
All right, this is where we're going. I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
That he was
Cthulhu is
going full
crazy.
Cthulhu.
Yes, I knew he
Talking
was
about
going to
Cthulhu
say
is
that.
wild.
I knew.
Well,
Welcome
because
on board.
you said why the Pacific? Why you said why the Pacific Ocean? There's the Mariana Stretch, and it's just like yes, we have to find out what's
It's true.
down at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh no.
Yeah, I hope you get eaten.
I hope you
Uh,
get eaten.
Joke's on you. I'm never going in the ocean.
question.
Sure, what's up?
I feel
What's
like
up?
it would just be more. We start putting more water on the land just to see people in it.
Well, actually, in regards to that, considering for human, I just like for chemicals usually, um, and then the chemical like the chemical chart and everything. Considering that, have us humans ever made chemicals that doesn't is not volatile or just like something that's very toxic or just gonna just be very dangerous? So in regards to this,
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm
say
sure
that.
we've created something that's not poisonous to somebody. Like,
Among something.
Yeah, but I don't. That's kind of
So,
like
how do you?
mm,
So what part of humans can we actually separate like to make water to be breathable? Then, because
We
everything that we
just
Liquid
touch is
need
gonna blow up.
H2O.
we just need
No, it
those.
wouldn't be H2O anymore if it becomes
No,
breathable.
exactly.
Yeah. Or
We would
Wait,
just need
wait, what do you
those.
mean? No, is it still hydrogen and oxygen? Is it still H2O?
yeah, the same
Breathing,
thing,
and
but
right?
I'm a
if you
little.
But we have
Yeah.
to
I was
breathe.
assuming that was kind
no,
of
no, no,
worked
but
out.
if you're changing the composition of water and it's becoming
Oh,
breathable,
that's what you mean. Okay, yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought you meant changing us so that we can breathe.
No,
Wait,
no,
wait,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
No, we
Arachnoplex.
just have to change our
Arachnoplex
gills.
here
That's it.
is. Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
we
hold
would
on.
actually have to.
No,
Arachnoplex
we
is
wouldn't
pro
need gills.
biotech. I think we should let her answer this. She is the biotech person here.
No, she's bioengineering.
Wait, is it really arachnoplex?
Oh, but like, come on. I feel like she would know.
Well,
Oh, it
arachno
is
would be on this
arachnoplex.
next.
Yeah,
Yeah, what?
she's about engineering.
Oh.
She's about
Oh,
bioengineering.
No, like I deadass just like I would always start reading it and I get to Iraq and I just stop reading.
But yeah, it's like in the instance
You don't
of
put the
actually
other
making breathable.
10% in, damn it.
Wait,
and then he's talking about we
Iraq?
won't rename Earth. Okay.
Oh, me?
All right, my
Yes.
fault.
Sorry.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying
know.
in the
I'm
chance of
sounding crazy, but we need the marketing.
Wait, okay, Didi, and ask your question. Go ahead. You won't
no,
have your
so I'm just saying in the chance of actually like us, what are the chances of us actually making that? Considering that everything that we make is it's volatile so far. Can we actually make breathable water? Like how would we make it?
I think it'd be marketing.
Not
I
on
think
this
it'd be something.
Marketing.
Yeah,
here,
see,
we have breathable water right
Right.
here.
see,
no,
right.
now here's the other thing.
See,
Would
think
it
of
be
it.
drinkable?
It would be drinkable, yeah.
I
No,
think it would just be some type of fucked up air, and we just excuse my French here. It'd be some type of messed up air, and we just call it like that sounds like such a marketable term though.
I
Breathable
just feel like
water.
we would have to like say, I think we would have to adjust like our just
Damn, you start
cybernetics
selling
pretty much kind of
energy
everything,
air
yeah.
after that. Damn, I'm gonna start the
Energy
market.
air.
I'm gonna start the markup.
I think we would have to start getting rid of all the salt that's in the water. But with all
That's
the
a bad
salt,
thing.
uh,
We
Yeah,
need
that
the
would-
salt
I
water.
don't think
What?
that would-
why? Why do we need?
I mean, there's so
Why?
much of it. I feel like
This
there's
salty beverage.
definitely a reason. I feel like there's definitely a reason. Like there's
Gemini
so
for
much
salty
of it.
beverage.
What if it's actually there to keep Cthulhu from rising back up from the
All
ocean?
right, well, there you go. I can't argue with
What?
that.
What are you talking? What are you talking?
That boy
Is the
Cthulhu, bro.
Pacific Ocean that salty?
I mean, it's an
Have you-
ocean. There's salt water. I don't know.
I
I
mean-
assume.
Yes, I've been in the ocean before, Rin. Yes, I've been in the Atlantic Ocean.
Wait, why are you saying my
if
name? I
that's
didn't
so
say that.
out
Oh,
of the
because
ordinary,
I thought yours light up. Sorry.
No
if
body
that's
of
so out
water
of the
out there is
ordinary,
clean.
wait. If that's so out of the ordinary, there's actually an astronaut that's allergic to moon dust.
Buzz Aldrin?
I don't know if that's him, but
Being allergic to
there's an
moon dust is
astronaut that's
wild.
allergic to moon dust. I shit you not, and I'm like,
What
that's
if-
actually something to be allergic to. I never knew.
What the heck is moon? I mean, I get it, like it's dust on the moon out. I mean, like chemically wise, that's
No,
gotta
okay,
suck.
so you know how they walked on the moon? Like, I assume the dust particles like splash on your suit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
assuming something happens whenever when the human touches it, when they go, back into their little space station where there's oxygen and safe.
I feel like no one should be touching anything called moon dust directly anyway.
Well, see, I feel like that's when you have to have the desanitization process for your suit, and yeah, then you're good. You
What if
wouldn't
he
have
was
to
the
worry
only
about
one
that.
that didn't get it though? Was he the only one that didn't get desanitized? And they were just like, "Oh, you're allergic."
Well, I mean, that's why we have nanomachines.
Are nanomachines real? Wait.
Shit,
Okay, back.
Technically, yes.
you're making me cough on my water. Fuck.
I don't know. Listen, man, I don't know. They got robot dogs now. I'm not really sure what's going on out there anymore. I kind of just take it day by day. Like, I don't know.
Take it in
what I
stride.
meant.
Take it in stride.
Nanomachine, son.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Oh, no.
Arachnoplex. How would we? Here's a question: would it be easier to make drinkable water or make humans just be able to? Not drinkable water. My God, help me.
Breathable
you see,
water.
I'm already. Yeah, breathable water. I mean, if we don't have drinkable water, we'd be dead. Breathable water, or to make it so humans could just breathe in water, would be easier.
for humans to breathe water, to make what water?
Water breathable, just in a general sense.
To
I
make
don't know what
water
the hell that means. I just,
breathable?
yeah, or to make it so humans can breathe in water, but we don't change the water.
I think it would be easier to make humans breathe in water, because if you're trying to make water breathable, then that's no longer water. You're altering the.
Starting to play God. You're right.
No. No. Like
Oh,
that's
I'll
basic.
happily say God.
No, I don't know how to explain it, but it's basic chemistry. Like at that point, you're changing the compounds too.
When have scientists not changed the compounds of things?
Wait,
I
what?
know, but that's no longer water. If you're
Okay,
making
No,
I
water,
must have heard something wrong.
Yeah.
What if it's something water-like? You know, like
yes, that's what I'm saying. It'll be water-like, but it won't be water.
What is water?
Is water wet? All right.
H2O.
it's water wet.
My bad. I just couldn't
I
resist. Let's
love
not go down there.
democracy.
I love that question. Is water wet?
I love free speech. I can just disagree with anything, regardless of what I believe. Free speech. My fault. I didn't mean to say that out loud. Keep going. My bad.
We can have an argument and just, be
And
complete
neither one of us
friends.
can agree with the position. We just are doing it because we
Yeah,
can.
yeah. Just in our free time, it's completely fine.
Devil's advocate. I don't know how we got here, but I like it.
Wait. So if we have breathable water, right? What would happen if a pregnant lady drinks breathable water? What would then happen to the baby?
Well, is it alcoholic breathable water or no? Or is it non-alcoholic?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think.
I don't know.
Have you?
I don't know the
Can you
chemicals. but I don't know.
breathe with alcohol in your lungs? Wait a minute. I don't think any liquid is breathable.
This is the most.
Does air count as a liquid?
Drink when you have the baby. You're not supposed to drink when you're having the baby. Jesus.
Right, but but then what if you drink breathable water? It's not alcohol.
I think she would be fine.
But isn't that like
She's
gargling air?
breathing.
What's
She's
happening?
breathing. Yeah, like I was about to say, she's breathing through the water. Like, I don't know. Maybe the side effect of breathable water is your kid is born with some kind of deficiency.
It's just flat out water.
Deficiency. That sounds
We just
pretty
revisit.
offensive.
See, I think we just
Oh,
revisit the drinkable
shut
water
up,
idea and we figure out how to make that work. Because I don't think we have enough of that going around. That's all I'm saying. I've
Well, we
never
don't-
seen any ad that says drinkable water, right? They just assume we can always drink it.
I've seen
I want to
box
see
water.
someone prove it. Okay, that is. I have seen
I've
box
seen
water.
water that says purified water, but it doesn't say it's drinkable.
I remember.
I just
I
I
used
always
to work
just
at a.
assume.
Here's a good one. A little like off story. I used to work at a grocery store, and I had someone actually walk in and ask me, "Where's diet water?"
What?
Real, just real.
No,
just real.
no,
Just real.
no.
They wanted you to remove all the fluoride from everything everywhere. Just real as goddamn, that's real.
What the?
Oh, that's so good.
Too much water in my water. Tone that down. That's
Too
all
much
I'm saying.
water in this water.
Man,
Tone it down. Diet water, just 10% less water. Wait, what?
10% less water.
Is this water recycled? Ew.
dude, that shit would be expensive.
All right,
I like
man.
my water to not be recycled.
Right.
Thank you
Put
very
some
much.
Ammonia chloride in there.
Oh my
Damn.
goodness.
Make yourself
Can I go?
This got kind of dark. I don't
an
know.
iced
Where do we-
mocha latte air frappuccino.
I like how this all started from someone saying drinkable water.
I know. You
Yo,
can
I
do
just-
it.
I just want to
Is that
just.
really?
But I mean, like, let's be real here, though. the solution, right? We have the solution now. We create the problem. Just make undrinkable water, and then boom, we got it. We're ahead of the game.
Water undrinkable.
That'll be
That's how you do it.
No,
Force
no,
their
no.
hand.
Mhm.
Force their hand.
I'm getting Spaceball flashbacks.
Checkmate
with,
this
like
on you.
the freaking planet Spaceball running out of air. We're gonna start
I'm
we're gonna start
getting
stealing air from other planets, importing. This is Martian air.
Damn.
Damn, we're gonna start taxing air.
Start siphoning air out of
oxygen
people's
free.
gas tanks.
Damn, that would suck. If they actually taxed oxygen in our air, like holy shit, like I
We're
would
f-
riot. I don't know.
we're
I
No,
would
fucking
don't give
dead.
them the idea.
How do you get
Don't
student?
give
Do you
them-
get food stamps for air?
don't give them the
Just for
idea. Don't give them the idea of taxing the air. Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on now, Arachnobox.
Well, that would
Technically
be Mr.
speaking,
Krabs that does it.
technically speaking, you can drink salt water. It will just kill you, but that doesn't mean you can't drink it.
No, it would be really salty, and you would feel like you drank animal piss. But
Huh.
it,
Salty,
Why do we
huh?
know the
But,
feeling of drinking animal piss, Gemini? Wait a minute. What?
because I was where is it, Wildwood Beach, and my
Oh, no.
sister had a panic attack,
You
and I
didn't
had
have to tell the story. There was an
Oh,
out
well,
here.
yeah, I'm just
There
saying.
was an out here.
I'm just saying. I went into salt water, and it tasted like the saltiest fucking
Yeah,
thing.
but
that
how
you
do you
could
know it
imagine.
tastes like animal?
What if someone was
Which
putting it in
animal?
the water?
Why
You
are
would
we
just
going
Is it all the
there?
animals?
Because I would imagine piss tastes like salt. So there you go. But anyway,
I don't.
um,
We can just not know sometimes. That's okay. That's
So, well,
I'm just saying. Just like how some people say Corona tastes like
you can taste Corona.
Oh yeah, it tastes like
wait. Are we talking about
we're
the
talking
beer or
about
the
that
no,
disease?
I'm talking about the alcohol. I'm
Are we
talking
okay,
talking
about
about the
sorry.
beer or
alcohol.
the disease?
I'm talking about
You
the
see where this
beers.
guy is.
Oh,
He's stuck
no.
in 2020.
But wait, okay. I think we've been here enough. What's the next?
Yeah,
Or is this
yeah.
the last one? And is this actually the last one?
Good
No,
question.
it's the
Yeah,
very last
he
one,
said
yeah.
2 questions. This
So
said this
the
was the
next
last one.
and last question is: would space weapons benefit military, or would it be redundant for military to have?
Of
What
course, it would
benefits would
benefit.
the military of any government from any country have from obtaining such weaponry for outer space?
Wait, space weapons like in today space weapons or space weapons in the future?
They kind of give examples to it if you'd like to hear it. Like,
Sure.
you know, I guess spacecraft that can shoot missiles from space. I don't really see a need for
Because
that,
like if
honestly.
it's today, it's green.
Right.
so
Like, all right, so imagine if you will, right now, like if you were to launch an ICBM, it would have to reach higher into the I forgot the stratosphere or whatever. I can't remember the actual layer of the atmosphere. And then travel along that. But if you have a spaceship, it can just move along orbit a lot faster than a missile can and then, and launch straight ahead. It's just, faster delivery. So there's an
I feel
efficiency.
like we're yeah. I mean, what's the difference? It's just launching something, dropping something versus launching it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But
if you have a spaceship that can launch missiles, then the range of the missiles almost becomes irrelevant.
what would be used to what kind of what would be like material wise to make it, the source to make it?
to make what?
Like for instance, like for us humans, we use like what? We usually bullets for that lead, steel, that kind of thing to make the weapons.
Oh, you're
Material
saying
wise,
for making
yeah, for
the
make yeah, exactly,
ICBM
yeah,
or the
yeah,
missile.
yes.
That would be
Do
interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly how you would make the missile survive space travel to get it from point A to point B.
I just
I
feel like
guess
I think
would
we
we
would
be
cover it.
looking at like a rocket ship type of situation where it's like the missile is held inside a larger missile, basically? Like
Oh,
Or
the
the parts
the
of the ship
or it
will
could
missile
be a
launcher?
missile package, like you know how they package up missiles and then when activated, it just launches out of its package.
Oh,
or do we
cluster.
just like rail cannon that just shoot it straight? I don't know, man.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was
because
saying. We have a space javelin in outer space right now, but that's
Yeah, I
Hey,
looked
Yeah, I
that
was
up.
gonna
I don't
say
think we actually have it, but it is something that was definitely thought about, and there was a proposal. Like there was a ask,
Oh, excuse me.
and
reprisal.
no, a proposal to have the
Oh,
project looked
sorry,
at. As
proposal. I thought you said reprisal. But yeah, I was gonna call back to the earlier conversation about Operation Starfish Prime, where
wait, what?
we saw the reason I'm bringing this up is because we saw what it would be like if a nuke hit the atmosphere, basically uh basically just entering space, right? It would blow up in space, but we don't know exactly what time that is or anything like that. And also, it has a different impact in space as the particles from the ICBM mixes um, around in the void, and it just kind of slowly drops down and flakes. It's not like this big mushroom cloud.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, they
You
made a
know,
So
picture of it too. It was like a purplish hue or something that you could
yeah.
actually
yeah,
see from whatever the hell. It was like long.
so I understand what Dee Dee's question is of like how are we going to make a missile or ICBM that can do that? That can like have the same type of explosion on Earth, but in space. You know, it would have to be
Yeah.
different types of materials and things like that. That obviously we would have to test and everything, but we can't do that. We have a pact with everybody that we can't test anything in space
No
anymore.
weaponizing space.
Yes.
Well, but this is just more on the theory into like would we have to replace obviously energy weapons, right?
Yes.
Do you think that would be considered the way to go for space weapons in the later times, possibly?
Not completely. No.
No. Why would you say?
I would
Just explain.
say maybe like halfway there, like maybe a little bit of energy weapons, but not completely.
Hmm.
See, I feel like we have to talk about exactly the purpose of the weapons. If the purpose of the weapons are to kill things in space, then you wouldn't really need anything but EMPs, technically, right? And then you just start EMPing everything around you, and things just start to die because there's no electronics providing oxygen and resources like that. But I mean, even then, I guess if you start looking at those kind of techs, space weapons become more about you not being able to use your weapons on me, and I can use my
Yeah,
weapons on you, right? Like if you can launch an EMP and use it to deactivate nukes from anywhere on the planet, you just have to position your satellite above it and then boom or something like that, right? That kind of seems like a more realistic way to go about it. Like that kind of solves our nuke problem where it's like, well, one person is like, what's to stop somebody? Well, it's space EMP, so now your nukes can't go off. And I know
yeah,
it becomes a cat and mouse situation. Like, all right, now our nukes are un-EMPable. Well, now we have a new magnetic pulse and stuff like that. But, I feel like that would be kind of the direction they could go with it.
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. That will be the end of our questions there. Unfortunately for this episode, there will be no Q&A.
Wait. Then what the hell did I sit through all this for?
Oh, dang.
Just
Bruh.
there are only a few questions, or from what I'm seeing right now. But yes, so we will be having other episodes of our podcast come up on our Spotify, and our next podcast will actually be on June 2nd. So stay tuned for that as well.
Hey, almost my birthday.
Oh, well, happy almost birthday. And our next podcast after that will be on January 6th as well. So hopefully Los here can join us, and we'll be probably having our other speaker Ant return for that podcast.
Oh, the one on the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun
So,
time.
I would also say happy birthday once again, Los.
Yes, happy
You just
Oh,
said it
birthday.
like not even 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, again, once
No, I
again.
said once again. I'm just saying it again for the sake of
but-
saying it again.
Oh no, he said
Well,
happy
I
early
appreciate
early
it all
birthday.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy to be able to join you guys on here. This was really good. Not as crazy as I thought it would be, actually.
How crazy did
I've
you
had
think?
some conversations off of this with people, and that's got pretty, wild. So I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. But okay,
We tamed it down a little bit.
all right,
So
hey,
for
because
everyone
Lynn's not
on
here,
the
that's
Hoshido
Falcon's not
chat,
here.
if you would like, I'm gonna send a link on there for those that aren't already. Feel free to join our family on Hoshido server. You can probably join our audience there, and you can hear us, directly from Discord if you like as well.
I'm always here in Discord about like 80%
Always.
of the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm the residential Hoshido hermit.
Oh, and I gave a little bit of an honorary badge to both Arachno and Los. You are now part of our podcast team.
Oh,
oh,
congrats.
nice.
Bitchin'.
Bitchin'.
Kind of-
I know someone asked why isn't Falcon a honorary member. I'm going to say we're testing him right now.
I think he's been failing.
Yeah,
Miserable.
your personal.
My
Is
take.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
is it based on being personal with that, or is it based on
Like
his performance?
I don't really take issue with his opinion. It's his behavior and his attitude.
I know you
and his
agree with a lot of his stuff he says. You're like, I don't want to.
I know
agree with a
Los
lot.
had the encounter
Not
with
a
Falcon
lot.
already.
Not a
I
lot.
mean,
Just
more lately.
Or
something.
something where he is
Yeah.
where he is right about it's just
It makes you angry.
like if he was just
I
a
think
bit
the
more
way he
respectful,
expressed
it'd
his
be better.
ideas. Yeah, I like from my interactions with him, and I said this to Okami. I think he just gets a little silly willy with politics sometimes, and he kind of goes off with it.
Silly with
And I think if you can reel him in, then I think he's pretty good to stir up a little bit of controversy. But if you don't know how to shut that down,
Exactly.
my boy,
Exactly.
that can spiral. But I mean, I think that's healthy for a podcast to have. It's just you just gotta know when
it is content.
It is
It is
content.
It
You
is.
gotta, yeah, as I said, you gotta have a Beetlejuice. Remember?
You gotta have
Like,
All
just
right.
gets a little too silly willy sometimes. That's all.
if only I could just say his name 3 times to get him to stop.
I'm gonna
Yep,
end
a
the
low count,
episode
yep.
here, and hopefully everyone that is watching, thank you for coming and supporting. We will be doing more. I'll probably start setting up after the next two. I'm gonna start setting up more of a scheduled podcast that fits all our speakers' schedules. I'm gonna be working on that, and hopefully at a much earlier time than more at night. So we're gonna be doing a bit of adjustments there as well. We're gonna adjust a little bit how Q&A is going on, and we'll have some returning speakers. I know some of you are asking for Ant to return.
I'm
Uh,
requesting turn shit.
so he will return for those that really do support his opinions and what he was saying. Don't worry, all your questions will be answered there as well. And for our next two podcasts, our themes will be martial art and survival segment, and the other one is world history in today's modern social world. So that's gonna
But
take.
is there going to be a Q&A?
For both of those, yes.
All right, I'll be there then.
Okay, you're really only in it for the Q&A.
He's only in it.
Same, to be honest.
All right, so this is Okami. This is Hoshido Eternal Podcast, episode 8, The Return of the Sci-Fi. Thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all soon in the next episode. Okay.